Good morning, Raptor Freaks. Lexi Odds here, and it's Monday morning, and I got double duty to do today, reacting to the Rockets game yesterday and setting you guys up for the New York Knicks game tonight at Madison Square Gardens. That's right, we got a lot to do, and I'm in much better shape this morning than I was yesterday. So I'm ready to come in the stream and kick some butt. Let's go. We'll start out with previewing tonight, and then we'll do a reaction to the Rockets' loss yesterday. Really crazy game yesterday. One of the most entertaining games of the season, honestly, to me. But we'll get to that in just a sec. So let's start with the injury report for the Raptors today, going into the game for tonight, and also the Knicks injury report. First of all, Toronto, right now, as it speaks, is RJ Barrett. This is the crazy thing. Yesterday, RJ was a late scratch for the game against the Rockets. We were watching the NBA feed before the game, and he's out there shooting around. Trevor J sees him running off the court, holding his mouth like this, like he hurt himself. Trevor thought he got hit in the face or something at first, but RJ was running off the court because he was about to barf. He was holding it in, and he ran out into the back because he had warmed up, and he was really intending to play last night for the Raptors, but he threw up literally 5 minutes before tip-off. And he was a late scratch in that kind of way. So, I mean, we got to understand why RJ didn't play at the very last minute last night. He was literally puking before the game, immediately before the game. Now, after the game, Darko said that RJ will travel with the team to New York, and we'll try again and see if he can actually play tonight. So there is a good chance. Hopefully, RJ got some rest, some fluids, feels better, and he's not puking anymore. This sucks. He's been sick for about a week right now. And, man, I just hope that he can get over his illness so he can be better 100% and come back and play for the Raptors very, very soon. So, yeah, RJ Barrett is in New York right now, and he is going to try again to suit up and play tonight, just so you guys know. AJ Lawson, that's not an injury right there. Pirtle is, I don't know if he's out for sure today, but he was out yesterday. It's a good chance that Pirtle will be out once again today. Bruce Brown is maybe out again. I'm not totally sure. Probably will be. And Emmanuel Quickly is going to be out also. Now, the thing that was revealed after the game was, and you guys are saying this in the comments, I see what you're saying, Reggie, is that Scotty is hurt. You know, the first game he came back against Brooklyn on Thursday, I thought he was moving so well and he looked like he was doing all right that he was fully healed. But no, he wasn't. And in fact, in that Brooklyn game, he got hurt again. If you saw the play where he hit his hip on a screen and he was like, that actually did really mess him up. But because he's really trying diligently to make every single game right now, partly because he's missed so many already this year, and he does want to try and get postseason awards. Scotty played yesterday, and he definitely didn't look the regular self of him. Well, don't expect him to sit again today, because he won't. He'll probably play still. But we have to give Scotty some credit. He's out there playing very hurt right now. And this is a big reason why he was ineffective yesterday. So, yeah, that's the injury report. Of course, we saw everybody on the court. So we should expect maybe possibly the same exact starting lineup unless RJ comes back. And then I would say he was probably going to supplant. I don't know who you take out. Do you start Scotty at center and you put RJ at point guard and you put Jonathan on the bench? I mean, is that a possibility, Darko, with the starting lineup of RJ, Grady Dick, Ochai Agbaji, and Jacoby Walter with Scotty Barnes at center? I don't know. That's something he's got to contemplate, because if he has that certain combination of players available, those are the top 5 players to play. It's not Jonathan. It would be RJ taking that starting spot. And then how do you deal with the center? I don't know. That may be a weird lineup. I would be okay with him doing that, though. If he was going to do that, it'd be very creative. Although maybe RJ isn't up to snuff, and maybe he just needs to come off the bench because he has been ill. We'll have to see. On the New York side of things, there's only one main real injury. It's still Mitchell Robinson. And it's saying that he will likely not be able to play until late January, is what the latest update from Shams is. So no Mitchell Robinson. He hasn't been available for them for a while. And also Kevin McCullough Jr. is ruled out for the game today also for the Knicks. Who are on the Knicks? Well, we saw them about a month ago, and it's Jalen Brunson, Mikal Bridges, Josh Hart, and OJ Anunoby, Karl Anthony Towns in the starting lineup. Cameron Payne, Miles McBride, Mikal Bridges, Precious Achua, Landry Shamet has returned to the team, and he is back on the team in the last couple days. So Shamet is available for their team. Jericho Sims, Tyler Kolek, Ariel Huckleport, Pacome Dadier, and Jacob Toppin, and Boo Booey. Yeah. Yeah, the Knicks beat us in Toronto a couple weeks ago. Is when Kat said, we are winners. And then they lost in the NBA Cup. So, yeah, a little bit of revenge. Could we get it against them? I don't know. It's going to be tough. Second night of a back-to-back. And, yeah, we'll just have to see. I think that Jack and Matt were so right when they were saying during the broadcast last night, why couldn't we have this game at like 3 in the afternoon, let these guys play and get on a plane and travel without having to travel overnight like this? Having the evening game last night, it's just not nice to both the teams, both Fred and the Houston Rockets and us also. Because they had to travel to Charlotte to play tonight, and we had to travel to New York to play tonight. And yeah, and some of these NBA schedule makers, and when they put the games at what times, they're really not nice to make us do this back-to-back like this after having so many days off in a row. Well, let's see how our guys respond. Sometimes adversity is the best test, and hopefully they can show up and make a good effort and get on the W side of things tonight. That would be fantastic. So there's your injury report. Mitchell Robinson basically is that for New York. They're very, very healthy. Boy, that must be nice. You should have gratitude, Knicks fans, that you have a very, very healthy team this year. And yeah, because boy, do we wish we did. Boy, do we wish we did. That may be the biggest thing that's messed up our season, is not having everybody available in the revolving door of injuries. Here are refs for tonight. Very, very interesting ref crew. In some ways, I like it. It's really a tale of the good, the bad, and the ugly. Once again, I don't even know if there's a bad, though. There's definitely an ugly. There's definitely a good, and then there's a rookie. It's more like the good, the rookie, and the ugly is what our referee crew tonight is. Mark Lindsay is back to be a crew chief for us tonight. Number 29 out of Pennsylvania in his 18th season. He likes the show Family Guy. He's the family guy. He likes Shawshank Redemption, gets down to Dave Matthews. He likes to listen to Apple Podcasts. He most like to visit Rome and Italy with his family. And his hidden talent is spelling, y'all. Yeah, I would ask y'all to ask me to spell something. But if you wrote it in, I'd already know. Lindsay considers his most memorable NBA assignment to be Game 5 of the 2022 Eastern Conference Finals between the Celtics and the Heat. Yeah, Mark Lindsay has been historically a very, very good referee to the Raptors, but we've had him twice this year, and we're 1-1. We won our first game with him this year, and we lost our last one. And it was actually a recent game we had Mark Lindsay. We win 56% of our games. But the Knicks, this is amazing. The Knicks are the worst team in Mark Lindsay out of all 30 teams in the NBA. They have the lowest win percentage with Mark Lindsay. So that's what I'm saying is the good. This guy's usually very nice to the Raptors, and he's very, very mean to the Knicks. So 56-32 is the split. 32 win percentage for the Knicks with Mark Lindsay out there. So I ain't hating that. Now, this is what I am hating. The middle ref is Murat Kogut, number 32, the magician from Ukraine, number 16th season. He also loves the show Family Guy. So this is a Family Guy night with Murat and Mark Lindsay being big fans of the Peter Griffin show. Catch Me If You Can is his favorite movie. He loves to listen to Queen. His favorite book is The Happiest Man on Earth. He likes to eat Neapolitan pizza. His favorite app is Amazon. He most like to visit Croatia. And his hidden talent is magician. That's right. He's a magician. Murat Kogut considers his most memorable NBA assignment to be his first playoff game, game 1 of a first-round series between the Bucks and the Pacers on April 21st, 2024. His dad, wife, and children were all attending that game. Of course, we know the infamous Kogut is the ugly. He is the one we really don't like. In fact, this will be the 4th game that Murat has refereed for the Raptors this year. And guess what? They're all losses. 3 losses before. So we're 0-3 with Murat. We've had him the most out of any referee so far this season. He is the one we've had the absolute most. We win 34% of our games with Murat. It's very much in the bottom 10 of the referees. Now, the Knicks don't do much better, though. This is the interesting thing. I thought Kogut, because he's from New York, in some ways he may show some favor to his hometown where he kind of grew up when he immigrated to United States. But no, his percentage with them is just shy of 440. So they are 39.7% win percentage with them. So it's a 40%. So it's 34-40 is the split for the Knicks with Kogut. second ref. The third ref is the rookie, JD Rawls, number 94, in his first full-fledged season as an NBA ref. He was one of the two refs this summer that was given the promotion to being a full-time NBA ref this year from coming from the G League. His favorite TV show is Power. He's from Baltimore, Maryland. His favorite movie is The Forge. His favorite musician, Anthony Hamilton. Favorite book, Die with Zero. Favorite meal, shrimp pasta. Favorite app, Bible. He most like to visit the Maldives, and his hidden talent is sign language. Very, very cool. Very, very, very cool. The Baltimore native has 7 years of officiating experience in college basketball with assignments in the ACC, Big East, Atlantic 10, Big 12, Big 10, MEAC, and CAA conferences. He refereed in Maryland State High School Championship in 2015 and 2016. Yeah, JD is a rookie. So in some ways, we got two fairly experienced refs and then a very, very green ref. We've had JD twice already this year, and both games we lost. We're at a 40% win percentage with him now. I believe we're 2-3 is what our record with JD Rawls is. Meanwhile, the Knicks are 75%. They're 3-1 with JD Rawls, so he definitely favors the Knicks in his short NBA refereeing career so far. So 40-75, the split with the rookie. So this is the thing. Mark Lindsay is a great crew chief, and I really do trust him, and I think he does a pretty good job for the most part. Now, the last time he reffed us, it was a little shady. There was some weird stuff going on. But the first time he reffed this was very good. Man, I hope that he can kind of look out for us in that hostile MSG crowd, but I don't know if he will. In some ways, he may very much play the home favorite, and Kugat will definitely play the home favorite. So yeah, I'm not totally happy with this ref crew. Our only hope is Mark Lindsay, honestly. JD Rawls may be kind of good as a rookie, as far as like maybe he might make some rookie mistakes, honestly, by reffing. But we'll see. We'll see how things go with this ref crew. In some ways, I hate the fact that the magician is one of the refs tonight, but I do like that Mark Lindsay's there. So we'll see how it goes between the two of them. So there's your ref report for tonight's game against the Knicks. Of course, tonight, it'll be a three-man broadcast once again, as Vince Carter has traveled to New York City to take the microphone with Alvin Williams and Matt Devlin. So we'll have the presence of Air Canada on our broadcast tonight, talking about the game. Hopefully, Vince, be nice. That's all I'm going to say. Remember, you're alumni with us now, and we're back in good graces. So, don't turncoat just because you're calling the game on the state side in the Mecca, Madison Square Garden. So, yeah, be nice. And be nice partly because we're on a 7-game losing streak, and Raptors fans are having, it's not fun. It's not fun. In fact, this is our second 7-game losing streak of the season, and I hate it. I don't want to go on an 8-game losing streak. In some ways, the way that the game went last night, I was really thinking we could end the streak because, wow, we were doing some amazing stuff last night. But once again, we could not have a sustained effort for 48 minutes to hold off the Rockets and win this game yesterday. It's very, very much too bad. It is what it is. So what? We got to keep moving on and learn from our lessons and understand everything that happened in that game. We'll go over it. This is what we're going to do next on the stream now. So we'll do that right now. I'll start with the comments and get my cues for how I want to talk about this from you guys. I appreciate everybody for being here this morning on a Monday morning before Christmas. That's right. A couple days before Christmas, guys. Hopefully you're getting everything you need prepared for the holiday that's coming up really quick. Trevor's here. Good morning to Commissioner Trevor J., the Commissioner of Fun for this YouTube channel. Trevor, how are you this morning? People will come and go. Some will love you. Some will test you. Some will leave you. And some will bless you. Be patient. Everything happens for a reason. That's right. One thing I'm realizing more and more, Trevor, is what maybe one of the biggest lessons I've learned this year is vibes. Test your vibes with people. And the vibes are weird or a little bit off. Man, you need to listen to them. Seriously. So yeah, vibe check. If something's a little bit off, trust your intuition and kind of figure out what you want to do in that point. Because in some ways, your intuition is some sort of thing that's built into you. Like all the animals in the world right now, they have intuition and they feel things from vibes. And well, they understand when there's danger. They understand when maybe something's a little off with energy. And that's something that humans have too. We may not be as in touch with it because we have such an electronic and world of man-made stuff that's around us that confuses us from our natural instincts. But yes, we still inherently have it in us. So trusting your vibes and understanding vibes is actually a really good indicator if you pay attention to it. So pay attention to your vibes in your life. There you go. Trevor's saying young rookies Jacoby Walter and Jamal Shed, they're showing great development. The future is bright for all those young rookies. I know you kept saying Rockies. No, I am exactly with you on this. There were a lot of time last night against the Rockets where we're playing three of our rookies, and it's not like the rookies where we're worried about them making mistakes. They play at such a high level, and they're very, very good. In fact, we had the coming out of Jacoby Walter in a major scoring way last night, coming out and scoring the first 14 points for the Raptors team at the beginning of the game. That was absolutely fantastic. This is the thing. Jacoby Walter was presented with an opportunity at the beginning of the game last night, and he took it and ran with it. I've always said, Raptors players, take that brass ring and run with it. Well, Jacoby did. He full-heartedly took that and scored the first 14 points for our team last night. What a coming out game for Jacoby Walter last night. So proud of him. Of course, he's my number one star of the game last night. Jacoby, wow. You are making me really believe that you're going to be a key cornerstone of this team in the future in major ways, because in some ways, I will say this, Jacoby, you are in the direction of RJ Barrett as an unstoppable scorer, as a baller, a guy who can put it in the hoop, and somebody that I just have utmost confidence in taking open shots. Yeah, Jacoby in 28 minutes was 9 of 18, shooting 50%, high volume, very efficient, 6 of 11 from 3. That is something that is so pleasant to see, that he shot 6 of 11 from 3, and the shot and the form is just so perfect, so balanced, so just like the shoulders are square, the feet are going up, and the knees are getting bent. The dude knows what he's doing as far as playing basketball. He's fundamentally so good. 3 of 4 from the free throw line, 2 rebounds, 3 assists, 6 fouls, though. He did foul out, 27 points in 28 minutes. The points per minute production, fantastic. Yeah, the foul trouble for Jacoby was in some ways very much welcome to the NBA, rookie. What are you doing, rookie? You're not supposed to be this good, rookie. Let's throw some fouls on you that are maybe not totally fair, rookie. That's a lot of what happened to Jacoby with the foul trouble last night. That ref crew, in some ways, they maybe were like, you're too much of a young upstart, and you are not supposed to be doing this right now. So there was a little bit of corralling of Jacoby Walter by the officials last night, which was annoying. In fact, that last foul was totally baited by Dillon Brooks. He's a master. We love our villain Dillon for Team Canada, not so much on the Rockets. But yeah, he bowed his head down into Jacoby, put his head into Jacoby's shoulder, got Jacoby to fall back, and Jacoby's arm just kind of hit Dillon Brooks' arm, and that's a foul. It was bullshit. And he shouldn't have been fouled out at that point in time. I love seeing the vet, Garrett Temple, giving Jacoby advice as he's leaving the court after fouling out. And Jacoby revealed what Garrett was saying to him after the game in the post interview, saying that Garrett was teaching him how not to get a 6th foul if he's running around playing with the 5 fouls. But listen, I'm going to tell you this right now. Dillon Brooks was going to get that foul on him no matter what, because that's what he does. He's one of the few players in this league that still thinks with his brain on what he's doing on the court. And Dillon Brooks targeted Jacoby Walter at that moment to try and get him out of the game as a strategic advantage for the Rockets going down the stretch at the end of the game. And it worked, and they got that. And in some ways, we did very much miss the great ability of Jacoby Walter that was shown earlier in the game in the last minutes, which is too bad. It's just, that's what it is. Veteran experience, one of the best defenders in the league, and really knows what he's doing. And that's why I love that he puts on the maple leaf when he plays nationally in FIBA basketball. So, yeah, it's a tough thing. Jacoby, you're a badass, man. I'm so proud of you, man. In some ways, seeing what you did last night, it just makes me feel like we're going to be all right. We're going to be all right. Now, let's talk about the other name that Trevor J has brought up here, Mr. Shed. Yeah, Fred VanVleet just glowingly complimentary of Jamal Shed after the game, saying, I've gotten a connection between Jamal. Jamal asked me if he could wear the 23. He did. He asked permission to wear Fred's 23. And Fred graciously said, yeah, sure, you can wear it. But know this, that number may not be available when Fred VanVleet walks away from the game after retirement. That number may be up there next to 15 very, very soon. So Fred said, it's fun to know Shed. He's a great young man. I'm really rooting for him. He's fantastic, but I hate playing against him. That's what Fred said last night after the game. He said playing against Shed is not fun. In fact, we saw Shed bully Fred a little bit, which was fun. This is the thing. Jamal Shed and Fred VanVleet can be compared in a lot of different ways. The path that they're going, maybe, sure. Although Fred was undrafted and Shed was. The other thing about Shed is he's way more athletic than Fred. In fact, we saw some glorious blocks by Jamal Shed where I'm like, what the heck? He blocked Jabari Smith in the corner when he gives up almost a foot of height on that man. How do you do that? Well, that means you're a very good athlete. And well, he used some of that athleticism against our Freddie in the post. He went up and posted up on Fred and beat him near the basket, which was very, very cool to see. Yeah, Jamal also got his first ever NBA double-double. Now, he's gotten a bunch of double-doubles down at 905 already this season, but this was his first NBA double-double last night. Very, very proud of Shed. He's my second star of the game last night. 33 minutes for Jamal, 5 of 7 from the field, very efficient. He hit a very open three, which was badass to see. They dared him. He took it, and he made it, and he nailed it. And that's the work he's putting in right now to improve his three-point shooting, being put on display in front of us on the game last night. 6 rebounds for Shed. That's the other thing he was doing that was super impressing me. He's the smallest guy on the court, maybe other than Fred, and he's getting in there, mixing it up with all the forwards and centers and coming out with the rebounds, which is crazy. 6 rebounds for Shed, 10 assists, 2 steals, 1 block, 3 turnovers, a +1 with 11 points in 33 minutes. I just thought that he was just so solid. And like I said, we're very proud of our rookies. These guys are showing up, and having 3 rookies out on the court out of the 5 players on the court at times, that's really risky for most franchises, but not for the Raptors, because we have such a quality rookie class that we can put most of our team out there being so young, and we don't have huge problems. This is why we're ahead. Seriously, if we were doing this, and this is another team, and they were making turnovers, rookie mistakes, and it was just a disaster, I'm telling you, these kids that we just drafted are going to be the people that push us up, just like that draft class that Jakob, Pascal, and Fred were in. They're going to do it eventually. I'm telling you, this is already so good, and we're only not even halfway through the season, right? They're so experienced and ready right now, which is crazy to me. So you're ready, Sheddy. Yeah, Freddie Sheddy, Freddie ready. Well, Sheddy ready too. That's what I'm going to say about that. Yeah, my third star of the game for the Rockets last night is Boucher. Boucher came off the bench, and he was just powerful. In some ways, Boucher's either on or off these days in games. He's either going to come out and he may have a game where it's kind of like not doing anything, which he has had recently, or he's just fantastic like he was earlier in the season. 6 of 11 for Chris in 19 minutes, 2 of 5 from 3. Those threes were incredible. He had some really good dunks attacking the rim. He made his only free throw, 1 rebound, 4 assists, 1 steal, 4 turnovers, though, 15 points for Chris in 19 minutes. It's a great points per game, points per minute average, and Chris was just having fun. You know, he really is a badass. Like, he dunked it on one of the I think it was Jabari. It was one of the Rockets. And he was like, he was like, yes, Chris, do that. And he falls out of bounds, and all his teammates are running from the bench to come and pick that man up. You go. You represent our country, right, Chris Boucher? And I can tell, you know what? Maybe your standing and what's happening with your future on the team and all that is questionable, but you are having fun. You're making the best of it, and you're just doing what you do. You're staying present. And I appreciate that for you, Chris. I told you, I sent a message to you on Instagram a while back in a comment saying, you're in the flow of life right now, man. You've got it. You figured it out. There's a lot of confusion you've had in your career. You've had a long journey to get to this point. And well, that's why you need to relish this, Chris, and absolutely understand and feel the confidence and feel that flow of life and how good things are coming to you, because they are, and they will continue to, because you're doing it right. And see, it's not easy, because things can get mysterious and different and weird and kind of not totally sure about what's happening, but you don't care. You're staying now in the present. And if Darko calls your number, you're there. Number 25 is out there doing something. So kudos to you, Chris. Salute to you, man. Our Canadian content is very strong right now, and Chris Boucher is still part of that. My 4th star. You know what? I'm going to do 5 stars, even though they lost. Usually I would only do 3 stars, but I feel like the effort and the way that those guys played for most of the game deserves 5 stars. So I'm going to go Abaji on the 4th star. Abaji, very solid, 50% shooting, just like Jacoby. 7 of 14 from the field, 1 of 3 from 3, 5 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal. +6 with 15 points in 32 minutes. I just thought, once again, Abaji gives you both ends of the court as far as guarding really high level guys on the other side. Like, in some ways he had to try and corral Jalen Green and do different things like that. And then also Abaji's there hitting open threes. That one pass that Grady threw to him from underneath the basket out to him to hit that three was just really awesome. It's a really good finish to a nice possession right there. So Baji, I salute you, because in some ways you're doing blue collar work. You're doing stuff out there that doesn't always get the shine or the attention, and I want to give you the attention from this channel. That's what I'm saying. The last star I'm going to give for last night is Jamison Battle. I felt like Jamison came off the bench and he was just a steady, sure shot for us. 17 minutes, 4 of 7 from the field, 3 of 5 from 3, 4 rebounds, and 11 points. So yeah, Jamison just steady. Another one of our J Rooks is just playing at a very, very productive, useful level that has absolutely been essential in this time of injuries for the Raptors this season so far. So yeah, there's my 5 stars of the game: Jacoby, and then Jamal, and Jamison. 3 of the 4 J Rooks on the 3 of the 5 stars. Wow. 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 Would you have thought at this point in the season, just a couple days before Christmas, that if I did 5 stars of the game, that I'd be putting 3 of our rookies in those 5 stars? Probably not. Probably not. Let's go. Smooth saying, yeah, good morning, all. Scotty was playing hurt, man. He should have not been out there. Maybe. But it really is that he has to watch out how many more games he misses, because he will miss out on money. So in some ways, it's that. Now, I know Scott had a tough game yesterday. He shot horrible. He may have had his worst shooting game in his entire Raptors career. But you know what? Scott was contributing in huge ways last night, even if he was hurt and he couldn't shoot correctly last night. In fact, I was so proud of him in the way he was being a shit disturber as far as deflecting and stealing and blocking. His defense last night was top notch. In fact, it was one of the better all around defensive games where he was just a presence on that end of the court, if not on the other end of the court. Now, he didn't do very well on the offensive end of the court last night. Missed almost all of his shots completely. And also, he was not passing well at times at the top of the key, trying to force passes into the lane with a lot of Rockets defenders around the guy he's trying to pass, and then it kind of getting fumbled and going to a turnover. But yeah, in some ways, Scott was so good in the beginning of the game with forcing turnovers through deflections that we got out on runs and took the lead very majorly around Scotty's defensive play, guys. So I can't be hating on Scott, because even if he wasn't scoring, even if he wasn't even passing very well, he was contributing in a major way to help us and be on the winning side of the game for most of the game. So, Scotty, I salute you. I know you're out there playing hurt. I'm not going to come at you. I'm not mad at you. In fact, I apologize for coming at you after Thursday's game in the light that now we do understand. You know what? You did a really good job of making me believe that you were okay when you really weren't on the down low. Because I regret on Friday saying, no, Scotty's not hurt. You can tell he's moving so well out there. Well, maybe he isn't moving so well. Maybe he is really hurt. And like Reggie said, maybe he shouldn't have been playing last night. But he has financial interests in playing right now. In fact, let's look at Scott's line. It's really sad, man. 2 of 15 from the field, 0 of 8 from 3. And I did not like that his first 6 shots were 0 of 6, and they were all 3-pointers. And we were talking about it in the chat. We're like, Scotty, why are you outside so much? Go inside, do something. Maybe it's because the Rockets have some height and it's dangerous to go inside. But when he finally did start taking shots nearer to the basket, he found success there. And that's what I'm saying, man. You can't take 6 3-pointers and try and shoot yourself into making them. You got to go inside, get a couple baskets. You'll feel better, and then maybe you'll start making the threes. That's just basketball 101, Scotty. He did get 10 rebounds, 3 of them offensive, 4 assists, 3 steals, 6 points for Scott in 39 minutes. A disappointing game, and some people are mad at Scott today, but they shouldn't be. They shouldn't be mad at him. He put a lot of effort out there. He played valiantly, injured, and he was able to contribute and help us in some ways yesterday that really did help us be winning for most of the game. So, yeah, I can't be mad at Scotty at all right there. Yeah. Kareem Thomas is saying Masai absolutely crushed all his draft picks. It's the players who make the most money who are failing him. I don't even know if it's that they're failing him. I think that in some ways it's the injury list that's failing us. And it has nothing to do with the players. It has nothing to do with Masai in a way. Maybe Masai, you know what? I want to drop the narrative of thinking that the Raptors are manipulating the injury list to try and help a cause to tank to get a high draft pick, because I think that we're just having bad luck. I think that if RJ's going to come out there and barf right before the game, that's really bad luck. That's really bad luck. And if Scotty keeps getting banged up in games with whether it's hip, whether it's his eye from Jokic, whether it's landing on Cat and twisting his ankle, this is just bad luck stuff. And we need to hopefully just be stronger, get through it. And that's why teams need depth. That's why we needed this rookie class, because in some ways we're being tested with our injury luck. And I don't want this to be something that's chronically around the team. A lot of teams have had really good years with health this year, including the one we're playing today, the Knicks. And in some ways, we just want to get into a period of time in Raptors basketball where we can enjoy having most of our team healthy also. But yeah, all year long, there's always been at least 3 or 4 guys on our injury list since the very beginning of the season. And when Matt Devlin and Jack Armstrong are talking about this is the 26th different Raptors starting lineup of the season, and we've only played 28 games, that's crazy to me. That is absolutely crazy to me. So, yeah, it's tough, man. Kareem, I don't know. I don't want to blame the guys with big money. I do want to see Emmanuel back ASAP, as soon as possible. Smooth saying Kelly looks like he was playing high, man. When they come into the game and they take those pictures of them coming in the hallway, they used to be the fashion pics, but kind of they're really just like, we're coming in and you check out what they're wearing and stuff. Often, and this may just be because it's super cold in Toronto this weekend, that they look like, in some ways, I was saying in the Facebook chat last night that they look sick when they're coming in. Now, RJ obviously was sick, and when he comes in, he has like glassy eyes. It's either like he's sick or he's, but I don't want to believe that. Or I even thought maybe he was drunk. He looked like he was a little bit drunk. It could very well be he's on cough medicine. He's a little bit kind of woozy and a little weird. Scotty and Kelly also looked a little sickly in their pictures coming in from the game. But we got to remember, it was minus 15 around the Toronto area yesterday. And it could very well be just getting to the game through winter weather can make you look a little bit weird coming into the game with the camera taking a picture of you coming in the hallway. But yeah, those pictures, I was like, what's going on there? Kelly's fun, man. I was watching the game last night, of course, with my family here in Atlanta, my dad, my brother, and my nephew, and my niece even. And, it's weird because I was telling my nephew to watch Kelly Olynyk and play like him. So it's like, look, I thought Kelly was okay yesterday. Let me go look at Kelly real quick. Kelly off the bench, 25 minutes, 3 of 8 from the field, 2 of 4 from 3. He took a couple threes and made them, which he had been shying away from taking threes since he came back from injury recently. And I'm like, man, why are you not taking your threes? Pull the trigger, Kelly. You're one of our better three-point shooters. And if you have the open shot, don't hesitate. Don't fake it and then pass it to somebody. Take the shot yourself because we need you to do it. So 2 threes by Kelly last night was a welcome thing to see. 9 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals, 1 block, 5 turnovers, 5 fouls, 8 points. He stat stuff last night. He stat stuff even with the turnovers and the fouls. But I like seeing him getting a lot of rebounds, getting some assists, getting some steals. Yeah, I can't be mad at Kelly. It wasn't a super, super great game, but I thought that he was solid in some ways out there. He was definitely a physical presence, playing scrappy, and very, very aware on the court last night. Trevor saying Fred VanVleet had some good words to say about the fans still coming out and supporting the team. I love Fred so much. I'm just going to say this, y'all. There are people that are around the Raptors history that I am saying are untouchable. You do not denigrate them. You do not insult them. You do not put them down. And if you do that, I'm coming at you with force. And somebody found that out last night because I'm not having it. I'm serious. The names are Masai Ujiri, Darko Rajakovic, Fred VanVleet, Pascal Siakam, DeMar DeRozan, Kyle Lowry. These are names of people that I will stand for them every single time. And anytime somebody says some messed up stuff about them, denigrating them, I will come back at you with that. That's a warning right there. Listen, sure, I'll down Malachi Flynn, but he's not Fred VanVleet. So I'm saying this right now. Put the respect on his name. In fact, I love Fred so much. Thank you, Fred, for coming to Toronto and playing against us and playing horribly. Thank you, Fred. You are a real one. And so I don't know if you're doing that on purpose. But in some ways, we talked about this yesterday on the stream. Our former Raptors, like Pascal and Fred, kind of not playing very well against us when they play against us. Is that like kind of on the down low? Y'all are kind of doing us a solid because Fred had a horrible game yesterday. And in some ways, I was like, Fred, he's a double agent for us. He's looking out. He's looking out for us. And he's kind of seeing, well, these guys are on a losing streak. Maybe I can kind of, not play as well. Freddie was 1 for 10 yesterday. So it's like he took a lot of shots, but he was missing them. 0 for 5 from 3 with 8 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals, 2 points only for Fred VanVleet. And I ain't hating on that. In fact, I love you, Fred. He got a great ovation. He had great interviews before and after the game. And yes, the love affair between Fred VanVleet, his family, and our city is still there. Still there, very, very much. In fact, they had a thing in the middle of the game where they did a little in-game ops celebrating the highest points ever in Raptor games ever in the franchise history. Of course, the countdown with Terrence Ross of 51 against the Clippers, Kyle DeMar DeRozan, Pascal Siakam in New York, and then Fred against Orlando with 54 points. And that's a great achievement. And that is our franchise record for the most points ever scored by a Raptor. So have some respect for Fred VanVleet once again. In some ways, listen, he is a player that goes hot and cold. He can be very, very hot. And he's a champion ×2 in our franchise. And he can be very, very cold like he was last night. Thank you, Fred. Thank you for being cold last night. Seriously, just like the city. But it's all love. The interview with Caleb before the game, he's hugging everybody. How can you hate him? He hugged Jack Armstrong with a big, huge hug before the game even started. So it's like, seriously, Raptors fans that don't like Fred, get over yourselves and stop hating on him. There's something about him that you don't like personality-wise, and y'all need to get over yourselves. Seriously, is what I'll say about that right there. Yeah, let's keep going. Stargate is here. Good morning to our man who escaped the machine, Stargate. Good morning, Raptor Freak family. Didn't say after the last game that Scotty was either hurt or dealing with a personal off-the-court issue. Either way, I knew something was wrong. Darko revealed it after the game last night. And in some ways, you could tell in this game, not in the Brooklyn game. He covered it up really well and was moving so fluidly in motion that I was like, he's not that hurt. He's moving too well to be hurt. Well, in this one, we saw it. I remember him hitting his hip in the Brooklyn game. And, oh, man, that looked like that might have hurt. And, well, it did. That may have been hindering him more than the ankle turn. Because he said that the ankle turn with Cat, it felt better after 2 days, and he looked good with his feet. It's more that his body's achy and kind of stuff. So Darko completely revealing that there is actual real injury issues with the Scotty Barnes and why he's moving the way he is on the court right now. So, yeah, it is what it is. But you know what? He's going to heal. He's going to get better. And that's what Darko said. He expects him to get better and better and feel better, and he'll play better. So, yeah. We got to give allowances for Scotty because he's not 100%. He's definitely not 100%. I don't think it's off the court issues. I don't think it's anything personal or off the court. But I did remind my family last time we were watching the game, he did have a child recently. And who knows what that adds into his life as far as like things like, I don't know if it adds like sleepless nights because he's helping to take care of a baby. There's all kinds of different things when you become a new parent that you have to deal with that you're not used to and adding into your life. So who knows if that is a factor in anything. I think it's mostly the hip check from Brooklyn that had him looking like what he did last night. G's here. Good morning to G, Raptor Freak Trivia Champion #1. I really want Scotty to get this point guard thing out of his system. He is a better point forward. I love Scotty, but he doesn't have the crafty handles to break down defenses and set the table. Yeah, he's too sloppy at times and careless. The thing you got to do, Scott, if you're going to be a point guard, you cannot have so many turnovers. And the other trend that Scotty's doing that I don't like that's going on right now is the push off with trying to make room for a shot in the lane. He got burned for it bad in Brooklyn game on Thursday with offensive fouls in the last 5 minutes of the game that absolutely sunk our team trying to win at the end of the game. And he did it again last night, and he did get called for it again. If you're going to put this arm like this into somebody like this, Scott, in the lane, they're going to call it. And they listen, in some ways, they know how good you are, the referees, the NBA. In some ways, they're trying to frustrate you. They may want you to hate Toronto so that you'll leave. And in some ways, they're going to make it really, really hard for you. And if they see you're hurt, they see that you're struggling, they're going to make it even harder on you. And that's part of what's happening right now. So they're not giving you any favor. And in some ways, they may be on purpose trying to frustrate the hell out of you. Realize that in some ways, they don't want you to be the franchise player for us. but you want to, and we want you to, and MLSC wants you to, and that's all that matters. So screw them. So do your best, get healthy, and overcome it all, because you will rightfully take the crown of being a face of this league, like Darko said you will, whether they like it or not. It's just over time, we need to get you there. And in some ways, they're going to not let you have the push off that they may let James Harden have that right now, but you will get the respect and the credibility and the stature as an NBA superstar at some point where they will allow you to push off like somebody like James Harden or SGA or somebody else would do. So yeah, it maybe also because you're a bigger, stronger guy, it really does look good. And these guys are over embellishing. They are also. If you come and you hit them a little bit, they're so this is a little bit of something you may have to work with the coaches to adjust so that you're not getting this call happening, because we've seen a trend of it now in 2 games right now. And I don't like that exactly. Yeah. G saying passing is only one aspect of being a point guard. He can be the elite passer without being the primary ball handler all game. One option, point guard, and building an offensive bag essentially overnight is a lot to take on. Yeah. That's the crazy thing. Scott comes in with a palette where he can go in all kinds of different directions, building what kind of NBA player he wants to be. There's a world, an alternate universe where Scotty shows up and he's just a power forward and there's none of this point guard stuff. And I often wonder about this. Like, would he just be totally working on post and close to the basket kind of shots? In some ways, we need Scotty to do these turnaround shots within 10, 15 feet of the basket because he's so good with them. He's got such a light touch. He's really got good hit the rim and kind of bounce around and a fall through kind of stuff going on. And in some ways, it's like, man, in some ways, I wish he wasn't so gifted as a vision and a talent with passing, because what would this alternative universe be where he's just like that whole point guard aspect isn't even trying to be like used or utilized around him. And he's just very, very focused on 4 or 5 work. That is a very interesting brain exercise to think about. And where would he be 4 years into his career right now if he had only been like, there's none of this point guard Scotty stuff? It'd be very interesting to know what that alternative universe would look like. Would this dude be like a Karl Malone? Seriously, could he have been like a Karl Malone kind of guy, just as such a strong, big body near the basket, just forcing his will on everybody in the league? Because that could be it right there. That could really be it right there. Nako's here. Good to see Gerald. Scotty's offense was a little yikesy. I like that word. Gerald, I'm going to give you a dunk for the word yikesy. I've never, ever heard that word before until today, and I'm going to try and get away with it on Scrabble game later today. How about that? Yikesy. That's so crazy. You can be like, that's not a word, Lex. Come on, we're going to look it up in the dictionary. It is not a word. 75 dunks for my good friend Nako the Nacho. Hilarious. You loved his defense. Yeah, it was fantastic. And so it was some of the best defensive work I've seen him. He's really, really getting a lot of deflections and just being a real disturber. In fact, he had some amazing blocks. That one block where he grabbed the net was so stupid. And that was kind of like, this is the thing I don't like about that call. Sure, he touched the net and he shouldn't have, because that is normally goaltending, but that ball had no chance of getting to the rim. It's not like the goaltend was important in that situation. The ball was on its way up and he blocked it legally. It's just that his hand happened to brush through the net when he was coming up. And how much was he aware of that? It's not like he grabbed the net to pull himself up to get up to block it, And so they counted the points, and that was a ref manipulation. That was helping the Rockets at that moment. It was kind of a crushing thing for him, and he got a tech right after that. That was like the added insult to the whole thing. Yeah, really annoying. That was a bad little section for the refs that really annoyed me right there. That goaltend and then the technical on Scotty right then. That is a little bit of what I was talking about. Those refs are trying to frustrate the hell out of him and maybe not be happy right now. That is a big part of it right now. But man, there was another block earlier in the game that was absolutely clean. That was so nasty. So he did some amazing stuff out there defensively, if not shooting well otherwise. Yeah. Holy moly, what a good performance by the rookies. There were some calls that I didn't love. Yeah, you and me both, Gerald. You and me both. That's right. Smooth saying, really surprised Bruno Fernando got no playing time last night. I was too. I know we talked about this a lot in the preview yesterday morning because, we thought that, this is smart because Sengun's a pretty big guy. But you know what? They did a really good job handling Sengun with the lineup they used. Mobo was okay. He did a lot of good length stuff to kind of mess him up. And Alperin was very much missing like bunnies and close baskets to the net. And like honestly, that's really good. That's good defense because he wasn't that sharp. He wasn't as sharp and focused in that. And the other thing they did was they didn't let Alperin become the hub like we do with Jakob. That he really wasn't the distributor or the guy who's going and getting everybody else involved, which they were very successful at this. So I thought that, in some ways, even though I wanted them to play either Bruno or Kelly to start, it worked out okay because obviously they came out and kicked their butt right from the beginning of the game, and we won the first half handily. In fact, it was so fun to have a good double-digit lead earlier in the game, watching it, and I was like, yeah, watching this game with my nephew is always good luck. And yeah, he was trying. He was helping us. We had rally caps on and we're trying to figure it out. But of course, at the end of the game, when things are tight and we're behind all of a sudden at the end, it's tough for our team to muster up the ability and the know-how to close out a game and get on the winning side in a close game like that. This is all the signs of a rebuild, a young team, and learning. There's lessons that are being learned for people like Jacoby and Scotty, and they will get those lessons in, and it'll get better and better as time goes on. So that's the one thing we got to remember about that. But this is the thing. If the Raptors had held that double-digit lead for most of the game, they could have cruised all the way to the victory. So in some ways, we need a wire-to-wire like lead to win games right now. If games are too close near the end, either ref manipulation or the veteran experience of the team we're playing against may overcome us. So we really do need that maple syrup double-digit lead and try to cruise for most of the game. And we can't even really let the other team get the lead and come back and try and overcome them. We're not good enough to do that yet. So we really do need to have 48 minutes of leading to win games as the Raptors right now. We really, really do. Yeah. Let's see. Smooth saying, like, what's the point of having Bruno Fernando if you're not going to play him? Yeah, I wonder about that too. I mean, the quality of play from Bruno isn't super great. And we know what we get from him is just a big body. Is going to be out there. Who knows? Maybe he's just like breaking in case of emergency. I think partly the DMPs for Bruno Fernando have a lot to do with Kelly coming back from injury finally from his back and him eating up any kind of minutes. And maybe the more we saw Fernando in the beginning of the season was because Kelly was out. And then the other thing that's happening right now is Chris is reemerging back into the rotation again after being out for a little bit when people came back from injury. And he's kind of taken some of the minutes and stuff from Bruno also. I thought Chris was great on defense. In fact, he had to guard Sengun a little bit last night, and he did very well. He showed that he's a veteran that understands if this guy outweighs me, I know a couple of things I can do to really screw him up still. So yeah, it was tough. In some ways, I was hoping they would play Bruno last night because I thought it made sense logically. But when they didn't, I was like, okay, they're actually doing pretty good without doing that. It's kind of where I got to with that. HC saying, poor Scotty, he's definitely having some baby mama drama, or that baby chaotic needs that killer instinct for a win, like RJ, not looking good so far. Well, the thing is, HC, it's absolutely his injuries. He is not right health-wise, and Darko let it be known after the game that Scotty is very much still very hurt right now. And that's why he's not playing exactly right. Now, his shots were looking very off. Like usually when he shoots those threes, he's very dialed in. It's all net and it's very smooth and very confident. But his shots were bricking in all kinds of weird ways last night. So I think that maybe part of the problem is because he hit his hip in the game against Brooklyn, that his balance is a little off on his form because of the pain on one side of his body. So there's some reasons for why Scott isn't exactly right, but because he's such a great all-around player, well, if he can't do that, there's so many other things on the list he can go out there and do to help us. And you know what? I think that last night was really interesting because it really showed that Walter is ready to emerge as one of the primary scorers for our team. And I think that, when RJ comes back, obviously he's still kind of the guy. And in fact, I would say this again. This is another one of these games where if we just had Pirtle and RJ, we would have won for sure. That's the other thing we need to understand is that this team last night, the Rockets, is one of the top teams of the Western Conference. We were not full strength, and we took it to them. And we could have, if we had maybe a full strength team, we would have beat them maybe. Jakob out there kind of doing what Jakob does and RJ doing what he does at the end of the game. That's what I'm saying. So things are good. And even if we're pulling punches because guys are on the injury list, well, let's, once again, as we've been saying this whole season, let's see what we look like when we're fully healthy against teams like this. because I mean, I'm not making excuses. I just know for a fact that RJ Barrett in late game situations will carry us with some scoring in a situation like last night, especially when it's close enough where we could strike and overcome them and get the W at the end. And then Jakob, come on. You don't think Jakob could have helped us against Sengun and rebounding and doing certain things against? Yeah, these two guys particularly could have been huge factors, let alone don't even start talking to me about Emmanuel Quickly possibly being involved in our games too. This is the thing we got to remember here. If it's anything personal with Scott, as far as his family and stuff like that, well, it's not being known. I don't think that's what it is. I think it is really physicality from the injuries that is hindering him right now. Smith saying would not surprise me if he's waived in January before his contract guarantees. That could very well be possible. Yeah, it could be that he. I don't know. His contract's already guaranteed. It went guaranteed around Halloween. Actually, is when it went guaranteed. So unless you know something I don't know, I thought his contract was pretty much guaranteed already. But if it isn't, and this is what happens, well, so be it. I'm really waiting for them to put AJ Lawson in. I know that he was there last night. He was available, and he could have played last night. I'm anxious to see AJ make his proper Toronto Raptors debut. And Darko, come on, man. Don't be shy. Don't do it tonight because it's an MSG. Let him have his first ever game in Toronto on our court at home. Seriously. And in some ways, I want y'all to get that out of the way. Just insert him for a little while, even late in the game at some point. This thing is, we have to remember about AJ Lawson. He was on the Mavericks last year, and he played heavy into the playoffs with the Mavericks finals run. And he played a lot in those games. He was not a bench totally player. He was a rotation player for the Mavericks as they went up through the ranks of the NBA playoffs last season. So we got to remember that about him. In some ways, Darko, can you remember that and maybe play AJ Lawson a little bit at some point? Come on, man. I'm waiting for this. I want to see AJ get his Raptors debut. Come on now. Let's go. Yeah. Nako saying last day of work for me, then I got to start cooking for full Christmas dinner. This is the thing I found out in recent years, that my good friend Gerald likes to cook crazy big dinners for holidays. And I'm like, I salute to you, Gerald, with your bam. I don't know, what's that guy's name? With your Iron Chef abilities there that you're doing. Yeah, you're Gordon Ramsay you're doing over there. Yeah, kudos to you, my guy. G saying, would like to see Shed, Davion, Grady, Scotty, Oshai, Yak, Kelly start with Scotty as a forward. This is interesting. Okay, so you're having to switch out Shed and Davion. Very, very interesting that Mitchell was available last night. He DNP'd, guys. This is so crazy. Like, maybe Mitchell wasn't 100%. It's still his shoulder. And Darko's like, I have Shed. I don't need to put Mitchell back in just because he is available and dressed to play. And Shed was above Mitchell on the depth chart last night. This is really showing how Shed is really impressing and got the confidence of our coaching staff. That even though Mitchell was available, he did not get the backup guard minutes. Jamal Shed did. So that was something very interesting. And once again, I don't question Darko's decisions except for the challenge. We're going to talk about this in a sec. But maybe, you could have played Davion Mitchell a little bit last night also, Darko, as far as he was there. But maybe you knew more about his injuries, not totally right. And you're like, you know what? You're not totally right. And we're having so much trouble right now. We're not going to risk it. We could play Shed right now and not have to play you tonight. And they'll keep Davion on the healing path so that he can be back fully healed instead of kind of half healed. Because he was ambiguous about whether he was going to be playing yesterday. And they cleared him to play right before the game, Davion Mitchell. So that was very, very interesting to me that Shed was ahead of him in the depth chart. HC saying our rookies are some of the best I've seen in a long, long time for the Raptors. Nothing like previous. These guys are doing so good. Let's go look at Jonathan, since he started last night, and I didn't cover him yet on the box score. Jonathan had 16 minutes. So he started. He was more in the first half, but later on in the game, he wasn't around as much. 1 for 3 from the field. He took 1 3, missed it, made his only free throw, 3 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 block, 3 points for Jonathan Mobo. Just an understated game, but in some ways, it's like he's got to be an active person, run around out there. Just didn't do a whole lot. Now, Scotty and Jonathan's best friend, Lloyd, was courtside underneath the court. Really cool to see Lloyd was right where the Van Vliet family used to sit. Underneath that, and those seats over there across from Nat Bhatia on the other end. That's where Lloyd was sitting last night. He's gone to a couple of Raptors games in a row now because he's in Toronto hanging around with Scott right now. But he sat way further up, but he got courtside last night. So kudos to you. What about Lloyd? Well, he's sitting next to the court. Grady Dick, I haven't covered him yet. He was absolutely really good too. But in some ways, Grady's shown us so much good stuff earlier in the season. I expect more from him than just 14 points in 31 minutes. Grady was fine. Grady was active. Grady was out there. He shot well, 5 for 9, 2 of 3 from a 3-point range, 2 of 3 at the free throw line. He's still missing a weird mystery free throw here and there when he should be a 90% free throw shooter. And he's still like flubbing a free throw here and there. And I don't like that, Grady. Get concentrated at the free throw line a little bit more because your form's too good and you're too good of a shooter to be missing any free throws. You need to be like Larry Bird, Mark Price, and Jose Calderon at the free throw line is what I'm saying, man. 2 rebounds, 6 assists, 1 steal, 3 turnovers, 14 points for Grady, +7. He wasn't bad. He's definitely an honorable mention on my 5 stars of the game. He could have been one of the stars, honestly. And then, yeah, that's pretty much everybody who played. DMPs for Bruno, Davion, and Garrett, and Ulrich Shamshay, and AJ Lawson. Yeah. That the Raptors' effort was really, really good, and the stuff they were doing was active. They were working hard. They were making things happen. And you know what? This is not a game like last week in the Brooklyn or Chicago game. These guys really put in good effort, and I was proud of them for what they did and left it all on the court. I can get mad at them for kind of coming back in the Bulls game and not coming with a good effort to start from the game. And I can get mad at them in the Nets game because they didn't close the game correctly and do anything right there. They were trying at the end of the game. You get Grady a 3 here, it kind of gets you closer at the end of the game, but it's just not enough. And once again, the Rockets have more vets, including our old number 23, and also that guy, Dylan. Yeah, they are factors. They really are factors. And Rockets fans, if you're watching me this morning, very much respect and love your veterans, Dylan and Fred, because they are absolutely the reason why you guys are moving up in the standings in the Western Conference. Absolutely the reason why. Yeah. Let's see. Nako's saying, I don't want to call Jacoby a positionless player, but he's so complete. That's not really what that is. Positionless player. That's not what that means, Gerald. He's not. He is a position. He's very much got a position. He's a 2-3, and that's a swing. That's a classic swing, and it's a score position. In some ways, that's exactly what he is. He's a baller. He can fill it up. He's really, really good from outside with a solid 3-point shot. And then he can attack the rim. And not only that, he's got a lot of little tricks in the mid-range. And he's utilizing the mid-range like a DeMar DeRozan or a Shai Gilgeous-Alexander would. So I like that. He's a mid-range artist. He is not afraid to take shots in that no man's land in between, right next to the rim or out beyond the free-point line. So I like that. I like that about him. He's definitely a 2-3. He's not any kind of other position. In some ways, he may be a point guard at some point too, a little bit. But that'll be like when RJ became a point guard this year. It's down the road and maybe like 3 or 4 years down the line from now. But yeah, Jacoby is a very, very, very good scorer. And that is what I love about him right now. In some ways, I've compared him to Jamal Crawford is what I've compared him to right now. And I know that's a really lofty comparison for him, but I think he'll grow into it even more and more as he gets older in the league. I'm telling you right now, he's really, really interesting. Let's see. HC saying Scotty's going to be like our boy Pascal, probably never going to be a leadership number 1 player, not comfortable in that role. RJ is not going to be helping that either. He's a real bully. I want us to stop trying to go and say this is what this person is and that's what they need to be. In some ways, Scotty is such a unique player in the NBA right now. He really does hearken of Magic Johnson. Magic Johnson, when he came in the league, he could have been any position. He played center against the Celtics in that finals when Kareem went out. He played point guard, and he was 6'9", but also he could play shooting guard. This is a positionless player, Gerald, is Scotty Barnes. He can play all 5 positions. And that's the thing. In some ways, we as fans have desires or dreams of what Scotty could be, whether it's point guard Scotty people, whether it's the people like us who want him to go down low and post up and take all his shots within 10 feet of the basket. But the thing is, Scotty's going to be Scotty. And in some ways, he's developing and understanding what he's supposed to do from within our franchise as far as under the direction of Darko Rajakovic and Masai Ujiri. So they have plans for him. They're the professionals. They're the ones who understand what he should look like in like 2 or 3 years from now. Now, don't give up on Scott on this. You may not feel like he's a true alpha leader to take over games and carry us like the standard NBA guys are. But I want to remind people once again, even though Magic could do it to an extent when he's young, he never really did it that often. Often in Lakers games in the 80s, Magic was not the go-to scorer that carried their team in the end. He would do it if they needed him to. He'd jump in and take some spots, but often was Worthy. It was Byron Scott. It was other guys on his team around him that carried the offensive load. There's no problem with this. In fact, this is why Barrett and Barnes are a great combo next to each other, because it's just like a light socket. You need the socket and the plug. And well, Scotty's the plug and RJ's the socket, and he'll take the pass and he'll lay it in from Scott's hands. And it's a beautiful partnership. So in some ways, leadership comes in many forms. And Scotty is definitely the leader of this team as the franchise face and the guy who's designated this. But he may not be the leader on the court who leads the scoring and actually carries us in clutch times. And that looks like RJ right now. But it could be on some nights Jacoby, from what I saw last night. And on some nights, it could be Emmanuel when he comes back also. So we need to allow for flexibility in roles and how we view them on the Raptors and with our team. We want to have a lot of good players on our team. And we don't want to say, oh, RJ shouldn't be here because he's more of a leader than Scott, because be the leader. People are saying that. And in some ways, we shouldn't say we should get rid of RJ's obviously our leader too. No, we need the abundance of talent in major ways going forward, because that's what you need to compete in the NBA, to be at a top level. You had to have a lot of good players on your team, a lot of good players on your team. So I'm not about this or that. Leadership can come in many forms. And Garrett Temple is another very important leader who doesn't even hardly play. So Nako's saying that block Shed had on Jabari was amazing. He really got up there. It really got up there. And it was really cool. There would be really good plays that the Raptors did defensively, but still the refs would call whistles and do little things. It was annoying. The referees were awful for the free throw discrepancy last night, and that really bugged the hell out of me. Like, I don't even remember who the refs were. It was Tiven. That's right. It was Josh Tiven last night. Tiven and Jason Goebel. Jason Goebel was awful last night. And Matt Myers, but yeah, the free throw discrepancy in the game last night was really bad. And in fact, we can point at that as a big factor in why we lost. They got 20 more free throw attempts than us, and we lost by 7. 27 of 33 from the free throw line for the Rockets, 9 of 13 for the Raptors. Yeah, they get 20 more attempts at free shots. I mean, seriously, you don't think the NBA is trying to help other teams against us, and we have to be that much better in this kind of situation? Because that's 20 more easy shot attempts for them to pad their stats, and they only beat us by 7. So they're lucky they beat us, honestly. So there was some hand-holding by the refs with ref manipulation. We shot better than them from the field. We shot 46%. We got 3 more shot attempts than them. We made 10 more threes than them. That was one of the things that counterbalanced the free throw discrepancy, was making 10 more threes. We took 43 threes last night. That's way more threes than we normally do. We didn't shoot totally great at the free throw line, 69%, missing 4 of the 13 free throws we got. We did get out rebounded, which is an issue. They had 18 offensive rebounds, but we had amazing assists, 33 assists for our team. The thing that this was a key thing too, and the difference between the two halves last night. At halftime, we only had I think it was 4 turnovers. And by the end of the game, we had even turnovers with them, 21 and 21. So that was one of the problems, is that the Rockets had a pretty good amount of turnovers at the halftime, and we had half the turnovers they had. But by the end of the game, at the end in the second half, we were even, 21 turnovers for both teams. So we had to continue to take care of the ball better, and that could have helped us win the game last night also. Yeah, points in the paint, they beat us there too, 62-50. So yeah, turnovers, more in the second half, awful for the Raptors. And then also the free throw discrepancy that the refs gave them 20 more free throw attempts than us. That was a big problem right there too. Big problem. Smooth saying Boucher has big trade value right now. Lots of chatter surrounding him. Well, you know what? Listen, in some ways, he is a piece that could be valuable coming to us. Somebody said in the chat last night that they heard that a rumor that the Raptors are going to be buyers at the trade deadline. Now, some people will be saying, why would they do that in this situation? I mean, that doesn't make sense if they're sewering themselves and at the bottom and maybe even in the capture the flag sweepstakes. Why would they be buyers at the trade deadline? I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me. I don't know if it's a totally reliable rumor as far as things. I think it would be more likely that we would trade possibly Boucher or Bruce Brown, but not likely that we're going to go and try and get some new players to add to what we've got. Once again, we're in a state where we're not healthy and we need to wait for everybody to come back before we can really truly judge what our team is all about. Really, really that. Yeah. Yeah. Let's see what else you guys are saying in the chat. Let's see. Trevor's saying, I said that the ref didn't want Jacoby in the game. They had to get him out. He was too good. He surprised them. And maybe they were like, this is too quick, too fast. Because there is a little bit of ways that the NBA and the referees can kind of govern or like hold down people in certain ways. And they were doing that with Walter to an extent. He went off too crazy, maybe letting himself be too known. And the refs reacted and they kind of really gave him really, really poor calls. And it could be, and Jacoby said this after the game, he understands this, that he's a rookie and that he's not getting the calls right now. He's not frustrated. He totally understands it. He's not getting all upset or bent out of shape about maybe an unfair whistle for him last night. But he says, within time, this will all come. And he believes in God and glory to God in everything he does. And that God's going to take care of him in the long run. So, yeah, Jacoby's got the right head on his shoulders to look at this and view at this discrepancy and not take it personal and understand that, well, he's low on the pecking order as far as the NBA as a rookie coming in his first season. Fiercey's here. Good morning, MJ. Good morning, fam, and happy Monday, a.k.a. game day of a back-to-back. Yeah, we're just right at it. The grind gets all this work done, and then Christmas time is here. Yeah, it's coming quick. It's going to be here in 2 days. That's right. Trevor's going to be in the Garden tonight representing the RFF in Madison Square Garden as the Raptors take the court against OG Anunoby and the New York Knicks tonight. Thank you, Trevor J., for making the travel to the Mecca to be there for the game tonight and represent the Raptors fan nation in the right way, Commissioner J. I appreciate you being there, and you'll be our eyes on the scene in the building tonight. Sorry, I say tomorrow night. Why? It's not. Fiercely saying, I know Darko wants Scotty to shoot threes galore, but it just did not work out yesterday. Yeah, as I was saying earlier, Marie, I feel like what's happening is Scotty's hip is really bad, and it's ruining his balance on his jump shot. And that's part of the reason why he was bricking and really, really off with his threes last night. So we got to give him a little leeway, being hurt and playing hurt right now, that his balance and the way he's going up with his shooting form is off because he's hurt with his hip. You know how that can be if you have a stiff hip and you're trying to jump up and you can't go on one side the same way as on the other side. That's going to be unbalanced. And that may be a big, huge reason why he was 0 for 6 to start the game from 3-point range last night. Now, I will say this is just tried and true. Scotty, you're not making your shots outside. Go inside, get an easy one close to the basket, and then try again out there, because you can get good momentum going with your offense by getting a couple of easy shots near the basket and then trying your three-pointer again. Trying to just shoot threes cold from the start of the game and then continuously shooting the threes and going 0 for 6, that's just like making the same damn mistake over and over again without learning. And in some ways, that's something you got to recognize. Maybe you take 3, you miss 0 and 3, then you go down low. That's what I'm saying right there. Yeah. Monique is here. Good to see the superfan Monique Lawrence, of course, at the game last night, bringing the vibes, bringing it right. And I could hear Monique through the TV saying Raptors come back from the halftime and come back and start the third quarter right. And I know in some ways they didn't. The Rockets came back from half fresh, and they did kind of start making their comeback immediately at the beginning of the third quarter to get it more even. But we really dominated them in the first half. And that was a joyous first half last night. Very, very fun for me to watch with my family here in Atlanta. And I know Monique had a fantastic time of the game last night also. What a great 2024, Monique Lawrence. And I'm looking forward to 2025 and all the great things that are ahead for us, the Raptor freaks, the Raptor fans, and the great super fan, Monique Lawrence. That's right. I love it. She's saying, good morning, Raptor freak crew. Always learning, and we'll get better soon. 2 quarters and second quarter almost had it. Second quarter and third quarter almost had it, though. Jameson turning heads, man, shooting a keeper. Yeah, each one of these guys has different things about them, and they're very different that are very useful. That's the other thing. It's like one thing for maybe Masai and Bobby to hit like on two rookies this year, but they hit on five, and they're all very, very different, and they're all really useful roles for us. I mean, Jamal Shed, a great new young backup point guard with a lot of headiness and smarts, just like our predecessors with Lowry and Van Vliet. This guy has been touched by Freddie and saying, look, this guy gets it. He's like me. He is worth mentoring. He is worth being somebody that I'm cheering for also, even though I don't play for this team anymore, that I like. And that is a real vote of confidence in Jamal Shed and who he is, that Fred sees himself in him. If Fred's not going to do that, like he's not that kind of guy. He's no bullshit. We know that. He wouldn't do that just to do that. He has to mean it if he's going to do it. And he definitely means it when he talks about Shed. That's fantastic. Jacoby Walter, your secret is out. You know, that name that you got is a lofty name, your first name. There's a lot of big time NBA scoring in the Jordan and Kobe. And in some ways, you were making the name fit for what you do last night. And that's the thing. In some ways, he was the enigma. He was the one who showed up late to the party. He's the one who missed training camp. He's the one who has been hurt probably the most out of all those rookies. And he is the one who's, he's where he's at, like what we saw last night. He's very, very special. And I'm very, very excited to see as Walter continues just how far we can go with him as a great scorer in the NBA, because it's there. Jonathan Mobo is a jackknife, much like his best friend, Scotty Barnes. He can do anything on the court, but maybe at a smaller level, but very, very useful and a very, very necessary for this team and the state of it is in with the injuries this year. So Jonathan's been fantastic, and he has a bright future as an NBA player also. Jamison Battle, dead-eye three-point shooter. As you said, this guy is like Dick. He can hit threes, money. You leave him open, he's going to make it. And not only that, we found out more about Jamison as far as he hustles, he rebounds, he gets after it, and he really is trying on defense. So he's not a three-point shooter that can be a defensive liability also. He's actually out there contributing to our defense in good ways and not sticking out like he's a weak spot on the defense. So that's a really good thing. And that's obviously a key role that the Raptors want more in abundance. A very reliable three-point shooter. And then our project, the Prince, the man sitting on the bench, the man doing good things on the 905, but he's down the road. The man's on layaway. He's going to be coming at some point. Young 18-year-old Ulrich Shamshay. So, we got 5 amazing rookies, and most NBA teams would be happy to have just 2 good rookies a year. We got 5 quality guys that are all going to hit over the next couple of years, and it will be known that Masai Ujiri and Bobby Webster are badasses at their job as front office in the NBA, because they'll look back at this class. In some ways, they look at the Fred, Jakob, Pascal, DeLon Wright year as like, wow, look at the plethora of abundance in the rookies for the Raptors this year. Well, this year is going to be just like that in hindsight in the years to come. I'm telling you right now, it's turning heads. Exactly, Mo. Turning heads and people taking note. That's right. Fiercely saying, have fun at MSG to Trevor. Yeah, get down there and do it right. Wear your Raptors gear with pride, my man, and show up and cheer them on. Who knows? Crazier things can happen. Who knows? Maybe there will be a Christmas miracle against the Knicks tonight instead of last night, an even harder game. Yeah, my nephew was saying last night, he's like, you know what, Uncle Lex, when do they play next? And I said, they're playing tomorrow, Harry. And he's like, well, oh, really? Oh, wow, we get to watch them again tomorrow night? That's awesome. That is awesome. Yeah, and we're going to go to a basketball gym today, and I'm going to coach him a little bit on how to play some basketball this afternoon and get ready for the game tonight. So I have a fun day today. I get to coach my nephew in basketball at a gym today, and I'm even going to put up some shots. Old Lex is going to get out there and see how the joints are. G saying Raptors rookies combined for 52 points last night. Fantastic. I know a bulk of that was Jacoby Walter, but yeah, that is just fantastic to see and have that luxury and the greatness. In some ways, we needed this so bad with Emmanuel being out for so long, Scotty in and out of the lineup, and RJ, Jakob. Everybody's had some time out. The only guy who's been there every single game has been Oshai and Jonathan. Those are the only 2 Raptors that have played every single game for the Raptors this season so far. And there you go. There you go. Let's go. David is saying hi. Hi, David. How are you? I hope you're in a better mood today. The only thing is I say, David, is listen, We are our mood. And I get so worried that you're just always so crotchety and angry and ornery. Why not just come with love and positivity and stuff? I know in the chat you're not in there all the time. And it's just like, let's put the right foot forward. And in some ways, denigrating a great Raptors legend like Fred VanVleet is just not necessary. It's just not necessary. And I will stand for him. I gave that warning earlier as far as like, if you're going to put Fred down, there's no reason to. He doesn't play for us anymore, and it's not necessary. And in some ways, I do stand with Fred. I'm like Fred Propaganda on Twitter, and thank you, Fred Propaganda, for watching my channel. I'm going to stand the good name on him every single time. That's just, you know this. You should know this. You should know that if you do this action, there's a reaction. And that's the reaction right there, David. So, hi, you want me to do the classic card? I'll do it right now. Let's go. It's 9:46. We're going to get a classic card for David right now. Let's see. Where are we here? All right, let me get a good one here. La, 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 la. I did this one yesterday. That's weird. This is a duplicate card, I guess. Okay, this is a weird one. This card looks weird, man. All right, we'll do it. It's too easy, though. You guys are going to get this right away. I have to cover it up in a weird spot. It's like the name is in the middle. All right, first person to write the full name answer of this classic card of the day will get the Raptor Freak trivia points. Yeah, and David is the commissioner of trivia. So here we go. Who is that, guys? I mean, come on. This is too easy. Yeah. This is too easy. Right here. Right here. Who is that? Who do you guys think is that? I mean, come on, y'all. Somebody should write this in like the instant I put this up. There we go. Fiercey's going to take it. And she even wrote the name correctly. That's a tough name to spell right. Of course, this is the great Lauri Markkanen of the Utah Jazz now, but this is when he was on the Bulls. This is a weird card. Look at the way it's set up, like with a ticket in the middle of it. It's got like a ticket. And yeah, let's see what they're saying about Lauri. Lauri's really good, man. Honestly, he's like the pride of Finland. He's like the pride of Finland. You know, Finland has so many amazing hockey players in the NHL. A lot of good goalies, a lot of good players, and not very many players come from Finland and end up in the NBA. You know, he's kind of like Pirtle. He's an aberration for his country, as like one of the only guys who comes from that country and actually plays in the league. So we're going to give Fiercey, I'd say 100 points. I've been standard with 100 right now as far as things with that. Let's see. Lauri Markkanen. Ah, crap. Why did it erase? Lauri Markkanen. Lauri. Hang on. I need to spell it right. That's part of it here. I don't think I did, but it's all right. We'll do this. Fiercey, 100 points. Not Fiercey and Kareem this time. That was yesterday. All right, boom goes the dynamite. Fiercey's got a 2-day streak. Getting the classic card right now. Beautiful, beautiful stuff. All right, let's see. Back to David's comment. 9:46. Let's see. Fiercey's saying, don't know if we discussed this already, but the fact that Shed wears number 23, will it affect Fred's jersey being retired? Is there a rule for these situations? Great question, MJ. I'm going to give you a dunk for a great question. See, this is the reason why we should be giving dunks, stuff like this. This is what I'm going to say about that, Fiercey, is that this is the way, well, let's think about Vince right now. Vince Carter just got his jersey retired. Now, the time period from 2004 to this year, 20 years, there's like 6 guys who wore 15 after him. Jorge Garboza, Amir Johnson are 2 of the most notable ones. And it was not a big deal to retire the 15 afterwards. So, yes, this is totally fine. What is the problem is Fred's still playing, right? So Fred's going to play probably, I don't know for how many more years. And Fred won't get retired until after that. So, you know, it could be that Jamal plays in the 23 for the Raptors the whole rest of Fred's career, and nobody else wears 23 other than Jamal after him. And then the 23 goes up in the rafters for Fred. So, yeah, in some ways, I really like that the respect was shown by Jamal Shed to Fred VanVleet in asking him if he could wear the 23. And Fred very graciously said, yeah, sure, you go ahead and wear it because it is special and it does matter to Fred. And listen, once again, I'll say it. Fred is a double champion as a Raptor. He won the championship in both leagues as a Raptor, G League and the NBA. And listen, that's a winner. That's somebody that the Raptors culture and family should be celebrating. Celebrating, yeah. So that's kind of how it's going to go down, Fiercey. Mo's saying, love how Garrett was there mentoring Jacoby after fouling out. I think it's amazing that we found out what he was saying to Jacoby after the game. Jacoby letting us know in the interview saying he basically mentored him on how to not get a 6th foul if you're in foul trouble and you got 5 fouls. He was teaching him about foul trouble and being in the NBA and how to avoid fouls. And also, I'm sure that Garrett Temple was giving him a lot of good words of encouragement as far as like, keep your head up. You had an amazing game. You're doing things right. And this is the blessings that God bestowed on you, and you're finally receiving them. And that's part of probably what they were talking about there too. Yeah, most saying, yeah, I was there last night. I saw your pictures, and I love seeing you at the game with all your friends, seeing you with Kimberly and Jennifer and different people. Yeah, that's just awesome, Mo. You're such a super fan. And honestly, you're putting in a lot of games this year. I don't know your record for how many games you've gone to in one single season. If you told me, that'd be awesome to find out. But I feel like this year you're on track to maybe having a record year of going to games this year, because you are at every home game this year. And I love you for it, Mo. You really do bring that right spirit for us in the building. We need your vibes. We always need your vibes. That's right. Smooth saying turnovers are still a very big problem. Yeah, yeah. And later in the game, but earlier we did a good job of taking care of things and stuff like that. I'm really, really impressed with Jamal Shed. He's a really, really smart player, and he is a true point guard. And that's why I want to continue to develop him and coming up, because he's going to be so useful for our team. We need to keep him around, Masai and Bobby. We need to keep Jamal and very much value him and invest in him. MLSC. That's what I'm saying. Fiercely saying Chris Boucher was nice. He's fun. He's having fun right now. In fact, let's go look at the Instagram stories because Chris is there. First, we got Bruno Fernando coming in off the elevator, and he's high-fiving somebody. It's a friend of his. I'm not sure. Is Sergio Benitez Cristiovo or something like that. I don't know. But Bruno's got a big smile. Matt Devlin doing the TikToks with Kayla Gray and Jack Armstrong. And he's wearing a Santa hat, and Jack's got an elf hat on. They're so goofy. I mean, in some ways, it's like I talked to my niece about TikTok, and it's like, yeah, you're cringe, Uncle Lex. And like, you know what? Who's cringe? Fred, Jack, Matt, and Kayla on TikTok. It's a little cringe, but it's so good cringe. It's like delicious cringe. And Matt Devlin celebrating Fred VanVleet on his Instagram. You know, this is not often that the broadcaster will put on blast a player from the other team in love like he just did. Steady Freddie All-Star, Freddie Double V, one of one. So obviously Matt Devlin has a supreme love for the great Fred VanVleet, undrafted player for the Raptors in the history. Jacoby Walter putting on display his stat line on his Instagram of 27 points. It was 6 3-pointers made, career high for Jacoby. The secret's out, young man. You are a good NBA player, and you're on your way. That's what's revealed from last night. And he's got the bonjour call on the dribbling around. He's just so good in different ways. Really, really good. Norman coming into the game with a nice sweater for the Clippers. Let's see. There's Jamal Shed. They're showing a highlight. Who is that? That's a different game than ours. He's got a highlight from the Sacramento game. So I think that he had a teammate there that he's from Houston that he's putting on blast. I'm not even totally sure what it is. There's Grady coming in the game yesterday with a little hat on. He's probably like, man, this Canada winter sucks. I mean, just as a little bit right now is really bad. There's Grady with his shooting form. Jamison Battle still celebrating the Vikings' success, just like our good friend King from To The Point. 27-24 is the score for the Minnesota Vikings over the Seahawks yesterday. Do not let the purple get that by, is what Jamison Battle's warning right now. Jamal McGlure around at the World Basketball event for the Raptors this weekend, taking in the crowd with the kids and the mentorship of Emmanuel Quickly talking to the kids. There's Jamal Shed and Bruce Brown and Bruno Fernando also standing there. A couple of the Raptors all hanging out and being there on present for World Basketball Day event with the Raptors. Good stuff. Yeah, Big Cat always there to look out and be a part of the Raptors alumni and being there for that stuff. And he's asking, should Raekwon and Ghostface make another LP together, guys? What do you think? Jonathan Mobo with the and one hammer against the Rockets. He did get hit on the hand and he made the dunk. So this is one of the things that Jonathan said he's really working on is finishing through contact at the rim. And, well, he had an opportunity to do that last night, and he successfully did. There's Slim Duck riding to the game yesterday. He's playing Drake through the system, and he's bouncing around. There he is coming in the game. He's looking a little down, but when he got in the game, he was up. Let's just put it that way. Chris was very, very much a spark plug, and we enjoy watching you dunk it and make those threes too. It's so fun when Chris makes those threes. There he is dunking on the Rockets player and pointing at them afterwards. Hilarious. There's even a clip of a young fan up in the 300 section that's filming and watching Slim Duck make his dunk, and he's like wowing. He's like amazed. And I love that Chris found this this fan post of a kid way up in the rafters, like up near the very top of our arena, and he's reposted just this kid watching him make the dunk because his dad tagged Slim Duck in there, so he reposted it. That's pretty cool fan interaction. We know Chris is very much valuing his connection with the young fans of the Raptors because he's signing and taking pictures all over the place in the arena before and after the game. So yeah, good job, Slim Duck. You are a badass. We love you. And I want you to stay a Raptor as long as you can. But I know maybe things were going to be changing at some point. And of course, Chris playing against his good friend Dylan Brooks last night. The Oregon connection is there between Slim Duck and his other friend Mean Duck. Mean Duck or Villain Duck. I don't know what they're calling him. Villain Duck, Angry Duck, all that kind of stuff. He also put on blast Jacoby Walters' career high 27 points, Slim Duck. And then you know what? Wubbs reposted Chris's post of him doing that. Siakam has way too many stories. We're going to skip him. Dylan Disu is doing a skills clinic, guys, in January 5th, he's going to do something at Sheridan College in Oakville. It's a $225 cost, and from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. for 4 hours, Dylan Disu will be teaching basketball skills at Sheridan College. So if you're interested in learning basketball from Dylan Disu of the 905, you can go down there and he will teach you. And there's Lloyd at the courtside seats. He's sitting right where Fred's mom used to sit when she would go to the games. Fred's mom and his wife would sit right there on the end line. And that's where Lloyd was last night, taking pictures on the end court. Davion coming in the game, good chrome, but he did not play. But there's some nice shoes he's got. He's put it on blast too. Let's see what else are in the Instagram stories. I'll skip the Raptors official. Let's see, the Toronto Tempo still showing pictures from their World Basketball event on Saturday with the young children that were there participating. What an amazing day yesterday. The Toronto Tempo had their first official event really with the public on Saturday. That's a rite of passage for that franchise, and there are going to be many, many more down the road. And we don't even have players, a GM, or a coach. So yeah, you keep going, Teresa. I believe in you. I love you. I think you're doing an amazing job, and just keep doing what you do. Toronto Tempo is going to be an amazing success. I believe it. All right, there's your Instagram stories for today. Yeah, a lot around the game last night. Chris Boucher was nice, Fiercey. He really was. Mo saying, I said Chris Boucher would be back in the rotation a week or so ago. You did say that. And I was kind of sheepish on it. I would have gotten behind you on it, but I was kind of like, the way that guys are going in and out of the lineup right now, there's nothing guaranteed. And when we're fully healthy, is Chris one of the rotation guys? I'm not totally sure. But you were right. He is stuck since they brought him back from a couple DMPs in a row. And I guess he's playing so well that Darko just can't make that decision to not play him. So you were right. There's your kudos, Mo. I'm going to give you a dunk for being exactly right about Chris coming into the rotation again. Because I wasn't too sure. I'm going to be honest. I wasn't ready to make that prediction with you because you never know with injuries and guys coming back who's going to get their number called. And you were right. 255 for Mo on the dunk charts right there. Yeah. Let's see. Wayne saying, good morning, Raptor freaks. Looking at Scotty, I'm wondering how comfortable he is with his body. He looks crazy strong, but not in sync. He doesn't look smooth. At times, he seems to be using too much force. Well, I'll go back to the thing we're saying today. His hip's messed up. And there was a play in the Brooklyn game on Thursday where he hit his hip against a Nets player, and he really bruised his hip. And afterwards, he was kind of walking like this and kind of doing this. So I think a lot of it is his balance is off because he has a bruised hip that's absolutely all messed up right now. So I think that we got to give him a little bit of an excuse right now, Wayne, that his hip is bruised and his balance is off on one side. And that's a big part of why his shooting is looking so bad right now. But what does Scott do? He plays anyway, and he contributes in all kinds of glue ways as far as defense, deflections, getting blocks, getting rebounds. And that's the stuff. Well, he's going to play. He's going to do something to help us. It may not be scoring. Fiercely saying, shooting looks easy, but when my daughter trains, I see her using her knees, elbows in, needs to focus and zone out on the spot at the moment. It ain't easy. Imagine doing it while injured. One of the most important things in shooting is your balance, is being centered and balanced, because you can't have a point where you have a standard spot where you know you're going to make it if you don't have that form. And that's why it's really important as young people learn basketball to get good habits of understanding their balance. There's crazy players in this NBA history that could play like Jordan and fly through the air and kind of be off shot and kind of make up for not totally being like straight, because they just have that innate kind of weird way of, squaring up even when they're not on the ground or even twisting in the air. But that's rare, very, very rare. For most normal people, we need to have set shots that are very balanced, square shoulders. And when you coach, you tell them to bring the energy from the bottom of the feet and the knees bent, and you come up like a spring coming up and put all the energy out through your arms and then through your follow through, and you point to where you want to go. You need all of that stuff to get a good shooting form like Grady Dick. And in some ways, Scotty's body is kind of lopsided right now. And that's a big, big part of it right there. Yeah. Smooth saying Warriors, Celtics, and Rockets all have interest in Chris Boucher. Yeah, well, Rockets got a firsthand look at him last night. Yeah, well, we'll have to see what happens and develops. I'm not trying to get Chris out of Toronto because I want him to stay as long as possible. But if Masai decrees and it's time, call him, Bobby. Well, that's what's going to happen. We'll have to see. Fiercely saying at Nako, the whole RFF is coming over to your place for the holiday dinner. That'd be fun. We'll go to Mississauga and we'll say, hello, Gerald. We're all here to eat. That'd be awesome. I'd love that. That'd be fun. It'd be cool to meet Jerry's family too. Smooth saying Boucher's big game against the Rockets might be our addition, man. That, you know what? You may be exactly right, Reggie. I could see that. I could very much see that. G saying, does anyone know if RJ's playing tonight? He's going to try. Let's see if he pukes right before the game like he did last night. I mean, it's crazy. Like we're getting ready to watch the game, and Trevor and I are talking on the chat. And Trevor says, oh, man, RJ just ran off the court holding his mouth like this. He looked like he got hit in the mouth is what he thought at first. But no, he was holding his mouth like this because he was about to barf, and he's holding the vomit in. And this was literally 4 minutes before tip-off. So he, in all earnestness, was going to play last night, but he literally vomited like within 10 minutes of the game starting. And then that where they're like, yeah, you can't play because you just threw up all over the place back here. Who knows how far he got down the tunnel? He's like running off the court. Who knows? Maybe grab the garbage can on the entrance and just who knows? Who knows? It's crazy. It's like we got the details about him vomiting from Darko after the game. He's like, yeah, RJ threw up. He threw up. I think that's a pretty good excuse for him not playing. But we do know also from Darko, he traveled to New York. He is there. And he is going to try again to try and come out and play tonight. So I don't know. We'll have to monitor Blue Skies and Blake Murphy's Blue Skies for the day and see exactly what he's saying around like 5 o'clock. Maybe he'll say, yeah, RJ's looking good. But, it's this kind of thing. If he is scratched right before the game last night, we won't know for sure if RJ's playing until he's actually out on the court and the clock has started. So Fiercely saying, if Chris is traded to one of those organizations, I don't even know who he'd fit with. Celtics would definitely make him challenge his shooting form. In some ways, you could look at Robert Williams III as the kind of role that Chris might be playing for them if he went there. Maybe not the same defensive prowess that Robert Williams III had, but some of the other stuff just a little bit different. I don't know. I don't want to visualize Chris too much on these other teams. But he is valuable, and teams have taken note, and this is totally true, that he is probably one of the more likely Raptors to be moved, if anybody's going to be moved, before this trade deadline in February. I think that Bruce is number one, and Chris is probably number two. Now, Bruce Brown, can you come back, please? Like, the cowboy hat's great, and I love showing my family last night, yeah, we have a cowboy on the bench. And my nephew's like, what? He's like, yeah, see that guy with the cowboy hat? He's on our team. It's kind of funny in that. It's funny. Let's keep going. Wayne's saying, when watching games, I'm focusing on Oshai. He's a solid player, doesn't make IQ mistakes. However, he needs a bit more aggression. Those missed layups should be dunks. He has the athleticism to do more. He has the athleticism to do more. I won't disagree with you, but I think with every player in the league, every player is going to have a mixture of misses and makes. And, I think Oshai is very, very solid at finishing around the rim. And he is good in transition at finishing around the rim, too. So I'm not gonna knock him on this because I feel like he's above average in this, actually, than most of the common NBA players across the league. So I think he's fantastic as far as what he's doing. It's very understated and not real flashy. And you do have to really pay attention and focus to see exactly what Oshai is doing. And the defensive stuff with the rest of the team is top notch. And also, he gets in there and fights for rebounds, and he's scrappy, and he's making deflections. He's being a pest in general. So I'm very happy with Abaji. In some ways, he's easily overshadowed by a lot of his teammates around his team, but he's somebody we need to remember. He's very solidly giving contributions to the team in major ways every single night he plays. Every single night. Fiercely saying Jacoby is so fun to watch. He's really talented. He really is. And the great thing about him is, for whatever reason, he fell out of the top 10 in the draft this year to 19 to us. Well, I don't think that whatever the reason was is a problem, because I'm not seeing any issues with him. One of the things that might have been is that Jacoby looked a little frail and skinny. Like, even at Summer League, if y'all go back and look at Summer League highlights from the Raptors this summer, he did not look as strong as he does right now. The man has done a lot of work very fast. And in fact, he did it while he was out on building his body up and giving a better, like, shoulders and upper arms and chest area, where he is a lot stronger for the NBA game. And it's paid off, because in some ways, if he hadn't done that work and he was still the skinnier, like, not as strong Jacoby Walter, he would not be doing what he did last night. So very, very smart, Jacoby. You're on the path and you're doing it right, my guy. You're doing it right. That's right. G saying, can Jacoby make a run at Rookie of the Year? It doesn't seem like any rookie is a clear-cut winner. Well, if he starts doing what he did last night on a consistent basis, yeah, of course. There's no front runner, and there's nobody that's really wowing that, like, yeah, this guy's the Rookie of the Year for sure. Nothing like a Chet Victor kind of matchup this year. No, 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 no. In some ways, there's a void that needs to be filled. And who knows? Walter could be starting to fill that if he can get more consistent things like what he did last night. That's for sure. Yeah. Kareem saying Jacoby reminds me of Clyde Drexler. That's an interesting one. Not so much the skill set, it's more how he makes the game look so easy. He's never over dribbles, and his passing to cutters in the paint area is phenomenal. Okay. I like what you're saying there. Yeah, I was going to say the glide is a very up in the air kind of player and very smooth, but you're right in the ways that you're talking about with the dribble and just kind of no wasted motion and just very, like you said, smooth as far as his offensive moves and the way he moves around on the court. I'll get behind this. I will not get behind it on the ups in the way that Drexler would do stuff like that. But who knows? Maybe Jacoby's going to show us something at some point where he's kind of doing some Air Jordan kind of stuff like Clyde the Glide would do too. Yeah, that's an interesting comparison. I won't totally disagree with it. I won't. Then that aspect that you put out, yeah, I will agree with it. Most saying Jamal amazed me last night. Can you just imagine what Jamal and Fred were talking about after the game? Mentorship and proud and stuff like that. And, Fred's got to say, you beat me tonight. I may have beat you as a team. The Rockets beating the Raptors, but Shed beat Fred last night. That's just the truth. And that's why Freddie said after the game, I love the kid. He's awesome. I'm talking to him, but I hate playing against him. He actually said that after the game last night. Fred said that he did not like playing Shed last night. It was not fun. And that he messed him up. That's what he probably told him. He's like, young fella, could you go easy on an old man like me next time? That's probably what he said. Yeah. Kareem saying, gee, I was saying this yesterday. He would easily win a Rookie of the Year if he just bumps up his 7 points to at least 14. Castle from San Antonio is the leader with 11. Well, we'll see. The 27 points last night definitely helps. So we'll have to see what happens there. So I want to take a moment to talk about this because I don't want to forget to talk about this. This is really, really important. Darko, I have a really big criticism of you. And this is what Jack was saying last night too. And y'all know what I'm about to talk about, the challenge. Yeah, Jack is exactly right. We need to be more strategic with how we use our challenge. And calling the challenge when we're up by 8 in the first quarter or in the first half was really dumb. In fact, we really got burned later on when the ball went off Jayshawn Tate's knee and they called it out on Kelly Olynyk and we lost a turnover in the last couple minutes of the game. So, man, you can't do this, Darko. You can't just frivolously waste our challenge early. I don't care. Maybe we need a rule where you don't use the challenge in the first half of the game at all. That really may be smart, sound decision-making because Jack was exactly right. And I hated that he said it early and he said, this may really come back to haunt us using this challenge now on a play that really didn't matter, honestly. Sometimes I get it. You want to influence the calls for the majority of the game by calling them out and challenging them. And hopefully you get a better whistle from then on in the game. But I don't think that's sound strategy, especially if the refs are going to say your challenge is unsuccessful. You lose your timeout and your ability to challenge for later. It'd be one thing if you won that challenge earlier and you still have one in your pocket, but that's not what happened last night. You lost your challenge on a frivolous play when you were up by 8 in a place where you were in a good place. Yeah, Jack Armstrong's exactly right. Man, we really needed that challenge and that out of bounds play that went off Jayshawn Tate. And it was right in front of y'all. That would have been something Josh Tiven, you would have overturned, and the Raptors would have had that ball. And that could have been a very crucial thing that could have helped us possibly beat the Rockets at the end of the game. So, Darko, please stop calling challenges in the first half at least. If, later on, maybe it's something like you don't use the challenge until later in the game. Now, maybe you guys are like, oh, but if I make the challenge, I get 2. And I don't know. Do we have to use a challenge every time? You may just want to have it in the back of your pocket, like a get out of jail card free for Monopoly. You don't have to use that get out of jail card free, right away. You use it when you need it. And in some ways, you're using it too early, and it really hurt us last night. It really, really did hurt us. G. St. Castle is 11 points per game, 2 rebounds, 3.9 assists. Jacoby's 8 points per game, 3 rebounds, and 1.7 assists. Well, we'll just have to see. Jacoby's starting now, and it looks like it's going to be tough when guys come back. He probably Emmanuel bump him. There's different guys who come back and may bump him out of the starting lineup, but Jacoby is steady starting right now. And this has been really good for his development in his young rookie career, that he is getting starters minutes and he's getting confidence and he doesn't look out of place. That's the other thing that's awesome about it. He's starting and he looks like he belongs there. If there's any noise behind me in the stream today, my brother is having major renovations to his house currently right now. And there are contractors right outside the window from me building an addition to his house. So if you guys hear any like and that kind of stuff, that's what that is, just so you know. I need the challenge of distraction. And it's a contractor's working on my brother's house, remodeling it right now. So, yeah, let's see. G. St. Kareem, I think it's possible. Just depends on playing time with some of the injured players coming back. That's exactly what I was just saying, and exactly what I'm thinking, G. Once again, Fiercely saying Jamal is passionate and intense. We need that. He's got that dog factor. Yeah, he totally is very, very passionate and intense. And you know what? He gets it. He's smart. He's very, very smart. That's part of the reason why him and Fred have bonded. If Jamal was a knucklehead, he wasn't really like a lot of the young players that come in the league are not that smart, and they're not really thinking deeply about the game. They're not really caring about the little details, doing things right fundamentally, stuff like that. Jamal gets it. He's really high IQ individual. And Fred is also. So that's in some ways it's like Spider-Man looking at each other. Hey, you or me, between Fred and Shed. So that's a big part of it right there. We wanted an heir apparent to Kyle Lowry, which was Fred VanVleet. And we want an heir apparent to Fred VanVleet, and was supposed to be Malachi Flynn. Didn't work out. Well, Jamal Shed is looking like he's the third one coming down the line. Trevor's saying Houston head coach said the young Raptors are going to be special. That's from Madoka. Yeah, that's high praise. In some ways, I have more respect with MA the further he gets away from that ugly green team that he used to coach. In some ways, I root for you now, Madoka. It's crazy. I like redemption arcs. In some ways, your career was totally sullied from a sordid affair, literally. And in some ways, your exit from the Celtics maybe not was totally right in a way. I mean, I get it. Maybe it was a toxic situation. Absolutely had to leave. But in some ways, if you're on a redemption arc, in some ways, I like your players. In some ways, I'm rooting for Ime Udoka more than ever, especially since he's nowhere near the Celtics now. Yeah, he's classically a Spurs guy. He's from the school of Popovich. He was around the Spurs organization early, and that's another team. That's my West Coast franchise. So, in some ways, I'm liking Udoka more and more. Set aside the personal stuff. That's deplorable, some of the stuff he did, but he's just doing his life. In some ways, I shouldn't judge. But the basketball stuff, I very much respect his demeanor and his competitiveness and the way he coaches in the NBA. And wow, I kind of really am rooting for the Rockets to an extent. I have a couple West Coast teams I wouldn't be unhappy seeing win, like the Thunder, the Spurs, and the Rockets. The Rockets are definitely a team I'm behind with Dylan and Fred on that team. That's right. Let's see. Wayne's saying, okay, Lex, if you're saying Scotty has hip issues, I can see that. When Renning, you can see him laboring. It was obvious to see. Scotty is super stubborn with his shooting. He just doesn't stop. Love Fred. Yeah, it's totally that. I mean, Darko revealed it, and you can see it too. I thought he was really smooth in the first game. Like he was totally healthy, but then when he got hip checked, in the Brooklyn game. It changed after that, and he obviously is still feeling it yesterday. Yeah. Fiercely saying, Lex, share footage of you coaching your nephew. How beautiful it is to spend time with your family. Enjoy it to the fullest. Thank you, Fiercey. Oh, it's been fantastic. I mean, I've only been here like just over 24 hours. I haven't been here that long, but it's been so rich with experience and just nice times. I tell you, I don't see my brother's family very often. I'm lucky if I see them twice a year. So getting a few days this week while I'm down here is just priceless. It's like that American Express commercial. It's the time with them is priceless with both my niece and nephew. So priceless. And also getting time to see my brother is very fun because, like, my brother and I are very close in age. And, we haven't spent a whole lot of time together in the decades recently. But when we were kids, we were around each other all the time as two very close brothers in age. And there's a lot of fun hanging out with my brother and catching up with him and talking to him like we used to. It's very, very fun. I appreciate you, Fiercey, on that. I don't know if I'll be able to give footage of my nephew because he is underage, and I want to respect my brother's wishes as far as like them on social media. So that's not likely. Now, I will say there could be a possibility that they do collaborate and help me on one of my streams while I'm here, Christmas morning specifically. So stay tuned, the Raptor Freak channel, for my parody song, which I finished up this morning. I fine-tuned it this morning. I got it real early, and I fine-tuned it. You guys are really going to love my Christmas song this year. It's really, really good, and it's very poignant. So I hope you'll join me on Christmas morning or watch it at some point time during the day and see my Christmas parody song that I wrote for this year. Yeah, you guys are going to like it. I'm really proud of it, honestly. Once again, we had Messiah's 12 Days of Christmas. We had OG, Let's Go, Man, the OG song. And then Marquise Noel, the first Noel last year. Well, I'm not going to tell you the song or the subject yet, but when you hear it, you're going to be like, wow, Lex really did it again. You guys are going to love it. That's right. Fiercely saying David and Lex all love. Yeah, I mean, listen, David and I are blunt objects, and when we hit each other, sometimes we hit each other. And there was a little bit of F-bombs going at each other last night. Listen, David, we've been here before. We understand this. I want you to know that I know you want to just say what you want to say, but my whole point is we do this chat. I want it to be positive. I want to feel good. And in some ways, think about your statement and whether it's necessary to add. Because in some ways, I don't like denigrating Fred. I really, really don't. And this is the whole reason why there's friction between us. It's just because of this. Is because, he put down Fred VanVleet in the middle of the game last night. I know he had a bad game, and that was good for us. And, but still, Freddie is hot and cold, just like a faucet. He can be very, very cold. And thank God it was in Toronto, his first game back against the Raptors. Listen, in some ways, Fred might have been double agent for us last night. It was like, yeah, I'm going to try and help them a little bit on the down low on this side. MA is probably like, Fred, what are you doing? What are you doing? Are you helping your other old team? What are you doing? It's really like something like that going on. Cool Cat saying, good morning, Raptor Free Crew. I didn't agree with Raptors playing Scotty with his ankle and hip injury. His performance, was pretty bad. Yeah. You know what? Like I said, he did other things in other areas that helped us if he didn't do well shooting and scoring himself. So I can't get on that. You didn't agree with it. Well, this is the thing. He cannot afford to miss games if he can play. So even if, maybe we should have done this, maybe Darko should have been like, you know what, you don't look that good. We played you for a bit of the game, but we're going to bench you for the rest of the game. Maybe that's what the middle ground is on that, Cool Cat, because he needs to have the play and not the DMPs. The DMPs are big, big, big problem for him. So every single game that he can suit up and be out on the court, he needs to go out there and do them just for the contract things, just for the postseason award stuff, because he can't miss. I think it's like 5 games he can miss, and then he's disqualified. So he has a long season to go still, and he needs to think that in mind. That's part of it right there. Maybe Darko plays him for the first 10 minutes, and then you say, okay, Scott, you don't have it, but at least he gets that time in, and it counts. That's what I'm saying right there. Let's see. There's the classic card stuff. Cool Cat saying, Larry Markkinen. I always wanted him on the Raptors. Bummer we never got him. He's on my list that I'd be very happy to have around on the team. But he's now elevated to a certain level of franchise player to a degree that it's not worth it with the fit of the pieces of what we have. But who knows? Who knows? Never say never. If the Big Fin comes to our team and plays for us, I'd be very happy to have Mr. Larry Markkinen in a Raptors jersey. Very, very much. In some ways, I don't think that Utah's the best fit for him. It's kind of like he got cast away over there, but he's making it work and he's flourishing in his NBA career, even though he's on the Jazz right now. Yeah. Fiercely saying we take pride in having the only Austrian in the league. That's right. The only Austrian. Jakob's so cool. He's sitting over there on the bench. Yeah, I missed Jakob. I wish he had played yesterday. I really wish he had. I don't think he's going to play tonight either, unfortunately. Let's see. Randolph's here. Blessing, beloved Raptor freaks, most informative gang. The testings of life will always produce the strength of life. Take those tests. That's right. I like that. I like that, Randolph. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. And take the test and go through it and, just learn the lesson. That's always good stuff. Blessings to the Phillips family, all the Raptor Freak families, especially in this holiday season. Coming up, a time for family. And hopefully everybody's getting a chance to be with family. If you are not, and you're on your own or something like that, reach out to us. We'll be there for you because we are your family through here. So yeah, RFF, we're here for you if you are in any kind of way. Specifically, if you want, you can message me and I'll be there for you because I've always wanted to. I know I've had times in my life where I've been alone around Christmas and it's been very sad and tough. And everybody should know that people care about you and we're out there, even if you don't have us physically next to you. All right, especially people that are here with us right now. That's right. Most saying 30th anniversary means something, kind of means something. And yes, Lex, you're right. Extremely busy, but counting down the days for my new weeks. So much gifts from everybody yesterday. Fantastic. I love to hear that, Mo, that you're getting showered with love down at the arena. And thank you for telling us that they've released part of the Sportsnet documentary on the 30th anniversary season. I still haven't watched it. Did you post the link in the Facebook chat? Because I'm going to have to find it. If you have it, put it in there because I'd like to watch it today. If you have the first preview of the Sportsnet Raptors 30th anniversary special with all the interviews with people. Monique, thank you. Merry Christmas. That's what I'll say to you. Most saying W stream, W vibes, go Raptors for life. Keep at it always. I'm under 10 minutes. I'm going to try and get done right at 2 hours, guys. Happy game day. Better days ahead. That's right. Better days ahead, Mo. You're exactly right. Fiercely saying, Lex, you've been mentioning Blue Skies for a few weeks now. I assume it's the new platform. Is it legal as an interesting? Is it legit as an interesting? Does it leave room for toxicity like X? It's the alternative that has come out. It's actually been developed by people who used to work at Twitter. And they kind of like when they saw the writing was on the wall about what was going on with it. And then Elon came in. Well, they really started ramping it up and making it. It's very similar to Twitter. It's not totally got all the bells and whistles that Twitter has yet, but it's a very similar place. And yes, it gives you all the allowances to block and get rid of trolls. There's way less bots and all kinds of stupid stuff that you see on Twitter. So yes, migrate with us, MJ, and come to the Blue Skies. You'll find the Raptors Freak there. You'll find Blake Murphy, Josh Lewenberg, Michael Grange, Karthika. Everybody is there from the Raptors, like most of them. They're starting to migrate more and more of them. It's blowing up. It's getting bigger and bigger, and it's a great alternative to the stupid site that's been ran to the ground by that stupid South African guy who's like trying to ruin America right now. So, yeah, if you are sick of Twitter's toxicity, definitely come there with us, Fiercey, now, today, and delete and deactivate your X account. That's what I would say right there. Yeah. Kareem saying, if you're sick, go home, especially if the game is in Toronto or still in the press box. Why are we risking other players getting sick? Wait, was RJ on the bench? Laugh out loud. Look at me making assumptions. No, RJ did not sit on the bench with them during the game. I'm sure he probably maybe did go home. Maybe they have a lounge or something, some sort of part of the facility where he can just relax and watch the game and be safe with some maybe some ginger ale, flat ginger ale and crackers. I don't know. They're like, RJ, you got to go in the sick room. And he's in there, and maybe he's like the boy in the bubble in there. Nobody's coming close to him. But you're exactly right. I mean, the NBA was so vigilant during the pandemic about COVID testing and trying to find stuff. I mean, didn't we learn anything from virology of that point in the history? So I think they do handle this very, very well. And obviously, if we want to have a competitive edge, the franchise is all about like, yeah, let's not contaminate the whole team if you are sick and could possibly make other people sick. So that's my sister-in-law asking my nephew, what time is the gym open today? We're going to go. So, yeah, I got to finish up, guys. I'm going to be done in 5 minutes now. I'm going to run through here real quick. Let's see. Superfan saying 3 stars of the game. Jamal, Chris, and Jameson. Those are good ones. I like. Well, Jacoby. Don't forget him too. Kareem saying, I thought all questionable calls under 2 minutes is reviewed, or is that just in football? Well, this is what Kelly was telling them, Josh Tiven, when they messed that call up. He's telling them they should do that. And yes, they have been doing this. It's just, I guess they're picking and choosing on how they want to do it. That's ref manipulation right there, Kareem. They obviously should have went and reviewed that call. And they didn't. It may be, I don't know if it was right under 2 minutes. I don't know if it's exactly there's a threshold of time. It was like, oh, if it's under 2 minutes, we'll review any questionable out of bounds call. But I don't know exactly when it happened. Was it 3 minutes or 3.5 minutes on the clock? I don't remember. That may have been part of it. But yeah, Josh Tiven, if he's a good ref, he should have stopped the game and went and got it right and given the ball to the Raptors. So that you got a great point. And that's why Kelly was like doing this, even though we didn't have a challenge. He's like, you need to review this on the officials review and forget about a challenge, because this is an important decision you're going to make in the end of the game. And normally you guys have been doing this officials review to check and see who the ball's off of. So why didn't you do that, Josh Tiven? Yeah. Good point, Kareem. Infamous is saying, salute, freaks. I'm convinced more and more than ever that we're strategically tanking, like coming to the realization Santa's not real. So poignant. Infamous, I'm going to give you a dunk. That's funny. Infamous comes in with that. What do you mean? What did you say about Santa? What are you doing to me, man? You're ruining my head. I can't. Santa's not real. What? No. I think you're right. And if we're doing this, we are like master artistes. Seriously. Like, people are saying this in social media spaces. The Raptors are so good at ethically tanking. They can make the game look good, entertain their fans, make it exciting, and then still find a way to just barely lose at the end of the game so that their win-loss percentage is exactly where they need to be in the capture the flag sweepstakes. Well, hey, we're checking some boxes, but they're not W boxes. No, they're not. But at least we're doing something. I think you might be right, Infamous. I don't know. Who knows? We just plan. We don't win. We're not old enough to know how to win. We're too young. That's what it is. Kareem saying our rookie class isn't made for the 905. At first, I wanted them to log crazy minutes down there, but they are NBA ready. I want the 905 to win, but at the same time, our rookie class would outclass G League. Well, that's why I was really hoping we could win a G League championship this year, but the injuries have not afforded us to allow them to go down there and play a lot of minutes. But I think you're right. Everything you're saying here is right. But don't get it twisted. If we had been healthy and they had been down there, who knows? Maybe we would have won the Showcase Cup. Maybe we would be starting this new part of the G League season, the regular season, on the right foot with really good stuff. Woulda, coulda, shoulda, we'll never know. And things are just exactly how they went down. Wayne saying Jamal is good. Most of the critiques we had 2 or 3 weeks ago have vastly diminished. That's progress. Even his shooting is somewhat better. Just don't overdo the shooting. Shoot in rhythm, please, Jamal. I agree with everything Wayne's saying here. There was a little bit of a weird period there about a month ago where Jamal was like, you're not doing things right. But he reoriented himself. And he really is strongly dedicating himself to improving his 3-point outside shooting. And it's showing already. So, yes, everything Wayne's saying here is top notch. And he's going to get a dunk real quick, because I agree. There's been an interesting journey for Jamal Shed. And he is doing it right. So we're going to do that. Wayne is going to, let's see, where's Wayne? Wayne's going to 180 now. 180 on the dunk chart for Wayne. Yeah, I like that you recognize that, and I totally see it too. Fiercely saying, ooh, no, I completely get it. Underage, don't post. Only the parents should. Yeah, I gotta be smart about that in some ways. Yeah. Blackhawk saying Darko would have to restrict Scotty to the 16-minute mark for it not to affect his NBA ambitions. So he'd have to play at least 16 minutes for it to count as a game that counts as not missing a game. Yeah. Okay, good. You knew that threshold. Okay, good, Neil. I did not know it was exactly 16 minutes that you have to play for it to count towards games played. There's very good information right there. Trevor's saying Jamal Murray back to his old self with class shots and plays to beat the Pelicans. All right, Jamal Murray's healthy and he's doing good stuff and he's playing big. And well, it's the Pelicans, Trevor. That's not a really good accomplishment this year. Let's just put it that way. Wayne's saying this one is for you, Lexicon. Your dedication to hosting, talking, and reading every post is truly dedicated and disciplined. When I can't view, I truly miss the interaction. Love to all the Raptor freaks. I appreciate that, Sergeant. I really, really do. I really, really appreciate you, man. And yeah, happy holidays to everybody. I'm going to say it a couple times, but yeah, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy Festivus. If you have the airing of grievances coming in your next 48 hours, I applaud you, Frank Costanza. But yes, much love to you guys. And I know if you can't be here live, you watch me later. And as you said, it's not totally the same. The interaction is a lot of fun. I appreciate you so much, Wayne. You're a top-notch guy, man. I appreciate you. Blackhawks saying no matter how good our rookies are in the 905, is still there for them. It's never a negative. There you go. That's the right attitude with Blackhawks saying as a counter, not a counter, but add on to Kareem's topic from before. Yeah, in some ways, it's great that they can get the development the big time because the injuries have afforded this. And it's much more expediting their progress and getting better and better. All right, I just hit 2 hours. Let's go. W Streamlex and WRFF. There you go, Finish Seesaw Sarah. All right, I did everything today, I think. We'll just do a really quick recap rundown real fast. Injuries for the Raptors tonight. Let's see if they updated this at all. RJ Barrett has been ruled out for yesterday, but maybe not today. We'll see if he pukes before he gets to the court tonight. Jakob Pearl's probably out. Bruce Brown's probably out. And Emmanuel Quickly's out. But nobody else is listed. Scotty is not listed, so he will be playing tonight, guys. On the Knicks side, Mitchell Robinson and Kevin McCullar are the two that are out. Our ref crew is a good, ugly, and a rookie. Our referee for the head is Mark Lindsay. He favors the Raptors. Murat Kugat is the second ref. Boo. And obviously he favors the Knicks. And J.D. Rawls is the rookie. He's going to be the third ref, and it favors the Knicks also. Yeah, thanks guys for watching. Let me just check my tabs and we'll get out of here. 5 stars of the game for the loss to the Rockets last night. Jacoby Walter, Jamal Shed, Chris Boucher, Oshai Abaji, and Jamison Battle are my 5 stars of the game. Let me see if there's anything left on Blue Skies and any updates and stuff like that. Nothing, just Blake Murphy talking about TNA. Talking about wrestling. As of course, that's what Blake's going to do. Y'all check your fantasy teams. We are starting a new week. I beat Omari past week. Yeah, make sure you set your lineups for your fantasy teams. It's still competitive. David's number 1. David's got the top team in our league, in our Raptor Freak Fantasy League. Go, David. Keep going, man. You're kicking a lot of butt. This dude really takes it seriously, and he kicks a lot of butt at fantasy. Totally does. Isaac Campbell saying love from Ottawa, Ontario, Canada, W the North. Isaac Campbell, I love you, man. Let's give Isaac a dunk and let's get out of here. All right, let's do that. Isaac just chimes in right at the end. We love you, Isaac. You're such a funny guy and a real one. I really do love you, man. All right, 2:35. Let's go Raptors and let's beat the Knicks tonight. Vince, be nice to the team on the broadcast. I don't want to hear you saying any weird stuff that's going to piss off me. Because seriously, you are Raptor alumni. Be proud of your culture that you built as Air Canada, and don't dump on it just because you're in stateside in MSG covering a game where they might get their butt kicked bad by the Knicks and OG. So please be kind. Have mercy is what I'll say to Vince Carter. Remember, you're on broadcast in Canada, okay? Let's go, Boogie Williams and Matt Devlin. And let's go to the game, Trevor J. And let's get that W for the Raptors tonight.